This video continues with page 21. Dragon Ball, God of Destruction Chat Group. Page 21, Uchiha Madara. Fluorescent. Spider. Other people. The first words this new group member said when he joined the group confused the entire group members. Spider, well, I'm asking this carefully, not to offend you, at accursed Archmage, are you feeling a little seriously ill? Spider's eye was speechless. She kept leveling up to improve herself. She was still thinking about how she could survive when evil god D destroyed the planet, but now a heavyweight newcomer came. The newcomer's first sentence was to ask who could kill him. The cursed Archmage, I have lived too long and it only brings misfortune to people. I hope someone can kill me. Uchiha Madara. This is the first time I see someone making such a request. Uchiha Madara didn't know how to answer the other party for a moment. He himself is a dead man, still thinking about how to come back to life. Now one of him feels that he has lived for too long and is a little tired of living. It's like a full man doesn't know what a hungry man is hungry for. Spider, at the cursed Great Magister, can I ask one more question? Boss, are you noble now? Could it be that he is an immortal who has lived for thousands of years, and now has no fun and plans to kill himself? The cursed Archmage. I don't remember the exact time, but he was about 400 years old. Spider, what? I can't think about it when I'm only 400 years old. I thought it was at least a few thousand. Isn't it just 400, not counting other worlds, just her own current world, Dragon God Q Lai, or Evil God D? Which one will not live longer than you? Especially Evil God D, who is even 1,000 years old. Spider's eye, accursed Great Magister, you are actually still very young. Don't get confused. Among our group members, there is one who is at least 500 years old. Maybe in the future, if there are more people in the group, even 400 years old may be ranked. No number. Fluorescent. Damn, this spider is floating. Don't think that if you don't say your name, I won't know you are talking about me. Uchiha Madara. At the cursed Great Magister, Spider-Man is right, 400 years old is still very young. If it was before, Uchiha Madara might be surprised, but now, 400 years old, he, Uchiha Madara, might also be able to survive. The cursed Archmage. My life will only bring misfortune to people, because I violated taboos and was cursed by the gods. He told the group members about his side of the matter. He told the truth to the group members that he had nothing to be wary of. After all, he wanted the group members to kill him. Ying, touching the taboo of life and death, will result in being cursed by the gods with immortality. Moreover, the more you cherish life, the easier it is for the life around you to wither. Zerf, yes, that's it. Over the past few hundred years, I have killed many people unintentionally. Zeref changed the nickname. He used to enter the group to his own name. Irina, Mr. Zeref, your magic should be very powerful. Can you teach me? Seeing Zeref change his nickname, Irina also changed the Witch of Chips to her own name. Chapter 22, Zamasu. There are new members in the chat group, but Bellies doesn't know about them yet. She is not in the mood to care about the chat group right now. Teleported to the underworld in an instant. The sudden appearance of the person startled the jittery underworld personnel. Fortunately, someone recognized this white-haired girl with long hair reaching her waist and cold eyes. Broken, Lord God of Destruction. The creature with the head of a human, and a horse ran towards me rolling and crawling. Ma Mayan, tell me what happened. Also, where did the cow head go? Bellies didn't say much and went straight to the point. Yes. The humanoid creature with a red horse face wiped the sweat from his forehead. Most of the things have been dealt with, and the heaven and earth have generally stabilized. Ma Mayan paused and continued. Brother Niutu is in charge of hell. He took most of the powerful men from heaven to guard the entrance to hell. The last news sent back shows that the situation is not good. None of the powerful people who explored hell came up alive. Well, I see. After Ma Mayan finished speaking, Bellies turned into a purple light and quickly headed towards the entrance to hell. Bellies left without making a fuss and sat slumped on the stone chair next to her. It's finally over. The younger brother on the side tugged at the corner of Ma Mayan's clothes. Brother, who was this just now? You seem to be very afraid of her." The horse trembled, and he quickly shook off the corner of his clothes that was grabbed by his younger brother and glared at him fiercely. "That is the most powerful god in the entire universe. You must respect him when you see him in the future." "Isn't the most powerful god Lord Yama?" The younger brother looked surprised. "King Yama, you are not even worthy to carry that man's shoes." This is what King Yama himself said many years ago. Ma Mayan seemed to be afraid that his younger brother would not understand, and added, "King Yama did not even resist in front of the god of destruction. I can't bring myself to think about it." The god of destruction is the most powerful god in the entire universe. Near the entrance to hell, the burly man with a sinewy face and a pair of horns stared intently at the entrance and exit of the hell gate, fearing that something would jump out of it. Beside him, there were dozens of creatures of different races, with rings of light above their heads. "How's it going?" Purple light fell next to Niu Tu, and Niu Tu was suddenly startled until the sound came. Sir. After seeing the pretty, even petite, white-haired girl beside him, Niu Tu quickly saluted. "There's no need for a virtual ceremony. Did you find anything unusual?" "We sent several teams to investigate, but so far no one has been able to come up," Niu Tu said solemnly. "Thank you for your hard work. If they are still alive, I will bring them all back." If someone is killed in the soul state, there is really no way to save him. Not even the Dragon Balls can do anything about it. Bellies turned into a stream of light and entered a bottomless black pit like a sinkhole with a whoosh sound. Lord Niutu, that gentleman just now is. An old man with a kind face and a halo of light on his head asked worriedly. "The god of destruction," Niutu said, "the most powerful and greatest god in the entire universe. If there is nothing we can do about her, then hell will probably be over. Not only hell, but maybe the entire underworld will be over." From the entrance to hell, the roaring and wailing sound of demonic beasts could be faintly heard. That kind of sound made even Niutu, who had been in the underworld for many years, feel a hint of fear. It was the difference in personality. Kai King, Yudo had met the Kaio before. As for the Kai King who was deposed by the god of destruction, Yudo had only had 2 words for him: cold and aloof. He didn't look like a Kai King at all. The most important thing is that he has a natural arrogance towards all living things. This arrogance comes from his bones. Niu too let out a long sigh. Lord Yama King. He vaguely felt that King Yama wanted to stabilize the Kaio and then call the god of destruction over. But his purpose seemed to have been discovered by the Kaiwan, which directly led to his death. Hell. The entire space was filled with light red mist. The hell souls who were originally imprisoned inside, now the cell door is opened, but no one is there. "Come out, I know you're here." "Papai." Applause came from the silent space. "Long time no see, bellies no, the current god of destruction." The man slowly walked out from the dark corner. He has an emerald green face, a lock of gray hair in the style of on his head, and wears a purple and gray Kaioshin costume. "I don't think it's a pleasure to be called a killer by being able to kill my teacher." Looking at the man coming out of the darkness, Bellies said in a cold voice, "Is that right? Killing the teacher. It's Zamasu." No, anyone can say that, but not you." Zamasu stretched out his finger and shook it, then curved the corners of his mouth. "You should be thanking me, human. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be able to become the god of destruction. Even if you could, you wouldn't be so quick. I'm not as heartless as you. Haha, humans like to hide themselves, but as a god, I can see through everything." Zamasu spoke in a very confident tone. "You, like me, don't like what Mr. Gervais does, right? Senior Gervais, even if he doesn't agree with you, it's not a reason for you to kill him." Bellies did not deny what Zamasu said. As a Kaioshin, to be honest, Gervais's character is a bit cowardly. He watches everything. What can he do by watching? Shouldn't Kaioshin be guided to a certain extent? After all, if you don't do anything, you won't be able to create a strong person, even if the entire universe is wiped out. Although Zin, the king of the 7th universe, is not qualified, he is really doing practical things. So regarding this matter, he did not agree with Gerva's approach. Of course, she was not a Kaioshin. At that time, She was only a candidate god of destruction and could not control Jerva's personal behavior. Is there any problem? I'm correcting Mr. Gervais's mistake and getting the order of the universe back on track. Zamasu was a little unhappy when he heard Belize's rejection. Page 22. Zamasu looked at Belize for a while and said in a leisurely tone, Kaioshin should guide the universe to a certain extent, rather than being a complete bystander. Isn't this what you taught me? Everything I do is carried out according to your wishes. Zamasu smiled with a smile on his face. I have nothing to say to you. Belize looked indifferent. Why, you can't refute it. Zamasu suddenly laughed. Actually, you have always wanted to kill me, right? When we first met, you had murderous intentions towards me. But what have you been worrying about? Zamasu snapped his fingers. Maybe you expected this day, so you had the intention to kill me when we first met. If you think so, everything will fall into place. However, after the first meeting, such murderous intention never appeared. Lord God of Destruction, can you tell me why this is? Chapter 23 passed. Because you were not hopeless at that time. Belize was silent for a while and said, but later I found out that I was wrong. When I first met Zamasu, he was still a humble gentleman. To be honest, from a sensory perspective, he wasn't that bad. His paranoia was not as severe as it is now, and he could still listen to what others said. If Zamasu could get rid of some of the original man's paranoia, he would be qualified as the king of gods. At least for Belize, this kind of Kaioshin is much better than Kavas. The god of destruction is bound to Kaioshin. Although Belize is unwilling, she does not have the strength to challenge the rules set by the king and the high priest. Therefore, instead of finding a weak Kaioshin to be connected to one's life, it is better to find a powerful Kaioshin with outstanding talents to be connected to one's life. Belize was relieved. Wait until Gervais and Rumsey retreat. Then, she and Zamasu will be the new god of destruction and the new Kaioshin respectively. After meeting Zamasu, Belize hesitated for a long time before finally giving up the idea of killing Zamasu. Let's not talk about whether it is possible to kill Zamasu. What to do next, how to explain to his teacher, the god of destruction Rumsey and Senior Gervais. She didn't think that by killing Zamasu, she could hide it from the Kaiojin, the god of destruction, and the angels. Could it be that just based on a so-called illusory future, Zamasu would kill his teacher Gervais? Yes, angels can indeed observe parallel worlds. But there is a problem, and it is still a very serious problem. That is, she, Belize, does not have a clean background. For example, what if an angel observes a parallel world, and there is no such person as her? How could she explain it? If there were one or two parallel worlds, it would still make sense. If she does not exist in all parallel worlds, how can she explain it? Therefore, Belize finally gave up the idea of killing Zamasu. Instead, he tried to find a way to change Zamasu's paranoid personality. Perhaps the inertia of history is so powerful. During her training, Belize unexpectedly discovered that she could learn the creative power of Kaioshin. And there is no conflict with its own destructive power. Angel Kessie told her that if she could master the power of creation and destruction at the same time, there is no need for Kaioshin and God of Destruction to be bound. Because one of the most important factors that binds the lives of Kaiojin and the God of Destruction is to use Kaiojin's peaceful creative power to stabilize the extremely violent destructive power in the body and soul of the Destruction God. This is the reason why the lives of the God of Destruction and Kaioshin are bound. The bombshell information revealed by Kessie also made Belize very interested in the power of creation. After all, no one wants to be tied to life and death by other people. So, after several years of hard work, she had a certain understanding of the power of creativity. Of course, about being able to learn the power of creation, Kessie asked her not to tell anyone other than Rumsey, not even Kaioshin. As for the reason, Kessie didn't tell her. After that, she neglected to train Zamasu and focused almost entirely on learning the power of creation. Under the teachings of Kaiwan god Gervais, Zamasu completely turned into a black man. This time is many years earlier than the original work. When Belize noticed it, it was already before Angelx fell asleep. The only good thing is that Jervis did not tell Zamas about the spacetime ring, because Zamas did not meet Jervis' standards. While dealing with Gervais's relics, Bellies found the box containing the spacetime ring and took it back to the god of destruction for safekeeping. Zamas, I won't let you escape this time. I will avenge Mr. Rumsey and Senior Gervais. Her waist-length white hair fluttered gently, and a faint pressure from Bellies' body pressed against Zamasu opposite her. Run away? Sensing Bellies' aura, Zamasu's expression changed slightly, but he quickly returned to his original state. With confidence in his voice, I never thought about running away. Human beings should not exist in any universe. Today next year will be your death anniversary. Zamasu slowly opened his arms, and then the surrounding red mist quickly gathered towards his position, forming a faint halo of light on the back of Zamasu's head. See, this is the posture of God. The appearance of the divine ring made Zamasu's somewhat frivolous divine energy become even more powerful. Faintly, it actually overwhelmed the breath released by Bellies. Transform, just like 5 years ago, use the blonde posture. I will defeat you with absolute strength to wash away the unforgettable shame of the past 5 years. 5 years ago, Zamasu killed Kaitwin Kavas. The death of Gervais led to the death of Rumsey, the god of destruction whose lives were connected, and the Angel X fell into a deep sleep. Bellies found Zamasu's location based on clues. A fight broke out between the two sides, and Bellies used a move that had never been used in their sparring. Transform. The originally long, snow-white hair turned into brilliant gold in the blink of an eye. Such a violent and terrifying aura, Zamasu remembered now, still fresh in my memory. The most important thing is strength. After the transformation, he is no match at all. If he hadn't learned how to teleport as a candidate for Kaioshin, he would have used teleportation many times to escape. Maybe just explain it directly. I am not interested in the way you choose to die, and there is no need to follow it. Transform. Does Zamasu think she is still the candidate god of destruction, who was unable to fully master the power of destruction 5 years ago? The god of destruction, who succeeded the god of destruction, was completely different from the alternate god of destruction. Asshole, you will pay for your arrogance. Zamasu said with a twisted face, humans, don't think that becoming the god of destruction means you can do whatever you want. I am also a god now, and I can still be the supreme god who can judge you. The dim divine ring on the back of Zamasu's head released a burst of terrifying pressure. The air was warm, and the ground beneath my feet trembled violently. It seemed like the whole hell was wailing and trembling. Heh, Zamasu, do you dare to say this in front of the king and the high priest? I originally thought that I would be very angry when I saw Zamasu, but after seeing his performance, I couldn't get angry at all. Are you angry and using other people's ignorance to cause trouble in your heart? Zamasu's voice was stuck. No matter how conceited he was, he would not think that he could arm wrestle with the great priest and the king at present. HMPH, don't say such meaningless things. Think about how to die, human being. Where did you take those souls from hell and heaven? Bellies did not answer Zamasu's question. She had almost searched the entire hell with her spiritual thoughts just now. But not a single soul was found. Ha 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 ha. Zamasu laughed after hearing this, and the expression on his face became more ferocious. The power to become a new god should be theirs for these villains trapped in hell. Pleasure. Not only hell, but also heaven. It is a sin for humans to appear in any place governed by gods. This is an insult to nature. I see they are all dead, right? Belly's purple eyes moved slightly. Zamas, those succubus vines in the universe are also your masterpiece, right? Belly suppressed the thought of killing Zamasu immediately. As the god of destruction, she must coordinate all aspects, especially emergencies whose origins are unknown and the truth cannot be found, and try her best to find the truth. That's right, human greed, lust, arrogance, etc. are all sinful things. These should be controlled by gods. Zamasu said his thoughts completely nonchalantly. Only in this way will the universe be better. Bellies retorted coldly, don't say it so nicely. What you do is just for your own selfish desires. The ultimate goal is to go to hell. Let your desires return to yourself and create that filthy divine ring on your head. Filthy? How dare you call God filthy? Zamasu's face was ferocious. Then, he remembered something and his voice was slightly mocking. The justice of power comes from the user, not the power itself. You told me this at the beginning, don't you think it's ridiculous to say this now? Dark red light rose around Zamasu. He clenched his fists, feeling his extremely majestic power, and said again, I am a god. Even if I stare into the abyss, my power is holy and pure. Maybe I shouldn't have told you this in the first place. Belly said no more, and the purple destructive power on her body slowly increased. Page 23. Whether power is just or not, everyone has different conclusions. At that time, she was still a candidate for the god of destruction, and she discovered that Zamasu was somewhat paranoid about Gervais's remarks, so she could only find a way to correct it. Of course she thinks so too. Therefore, what he said to Zamasu before he turned black can be regarded as speaking from the bottom of his heart. I'm not interested in your justice. I came here today, not in the name of the god of destruction, but as a disciple. The purpose is to kill the disciples who deceived the master and destroyed the ancestors, Bellies said lightly. Revenge, human beings have such low-level desires. Zamasu sneered, revenge against gods in the name of human beings, how arrogant it is. The power of the release of Zamasu's power slowly spreads to the outside world through the entrance to hell. The gloomy energy seemed to spread to the entire underworld. However, I allowed it. God's mercy allows you to take revenge on me. Chapter 24, Strong Suppression. Laugh. Before Zamasu could finish speaking, he could smell blood on the tip of his nose. A sharp pain came from his arm. Wow. Zamasu covered his missing right arm and quickly backed away, his eyes red. Damn it. Purple blood spurted out from the fresh wound in the severed right arm. Sorry, my hand slipped. He threw out a golden air bomb and hit Zamasu, lying quietly on the ground with blood oozing out of half of his arm. After an explosion, Zamasu's broken right hand completely disappeared. Asshole, you dare to hurt God's body, it's unforgivable. The palm of his left hand turned into a sword, and a lightsaber formed by purple-red energy emerged from the palm. Zamasu stormed out angrily. With such a character, it's no wonder that Senior Gervais thinks you are unqualified. Gently retreating 2 positions, tiptoeing a little, Bellies somersaulted and landed behind Zamasu. When Zamasu saw this, the palm knife in his hand became longer and thicker. With his eyes focused, Zamasu swung his knife and swept it towards Bellies behind him. Bellies slowly raised her right hand. Give it a slight squeeze. The red blade with a calm aura, like a laser, was easily grasped by Bellies in her hand. Is that the only extent? The soul that swallowed the entire hell is not even qualified to make me take it seriously. You are worse than you were 5 years ago. Asshole, it's not your turn to say such things. A burst of smoke came out of Zamasu's broken right arm. Then, like a gecko, his right arm grew back. Go to hell. He held up the dark red air bomb in his right hand and hit Bellies on the head. Rabbit hair needle. Snow white hair floated gently, and in the blink of an eye, the originally silky long hair became sharp. Thousands of flying needles pricked Zamasu's body. Ouch, The energy bomb concentrated in Zamasu's right hand collapsed, and his entire body became completely like a hedgehog, with white spikes everywhere. Zamasu retreated quickly. When he saw him retreating, Bellies did not pursue him. She was like a cat playing with a mouse. Her expression was extremely calm. How about it, God? Are you sometimes afraid? Damn it, it's unforgivable. You actually hurt me. The Supreme God, again and again. Zamasu uses his divine power to shatter and insert it into various parts of his body, causing his hair to form spikes. He slowly opened his arms. Human, don't be so arrogant. In an instant, hell was filled with scarlet light spots, as Zamasu's arms slowly waved. The blade of judgment. The scarlet light spots turned into sharp blades and fell down in response. Boom, 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 boom. Countless sharp blades were inserted into the ground, and dense explosions resounded throughout the hell. Haruhata, die, all of you die. Zamasu grinned. There is no need for humans to exist in my world. But the next second, two circular discs passed through the gap where the dense judgment blades fell. HMPH, what's the point of attacking so slowly? Looking at the Chi Yuan slash flying towards him, Zamasu sneered. At this time, the two flying Chi Yuan slashes changed from 2 to 4 to 8 in the blink of an eye. What? Zamasu looked horrified. Damn it, he was screwed. The dozens of golden discs that are already approaching are slightly smaller than before. Because they rotate rapidly, they are like blades with powerful tearing capabilities. No, you can't get cut. Zamasu held up his palm, condensed a purple-red energy bomb, and shot it straight towards the position of Kiyuan slash. It's over, Zamasu. I didn't have time to understand what the sound was about and where it came from. Chila. I felt a pain in my chest. Ado. A mouthful of purple blood spurted out of his mouth. Zamasu's eyes were full of disbelief. He lowered his head with difficulty and looked at Bai Zhai's hand on his chest. I told you when I was chasing you that I would take out your heart with my own hands. A cold voice sounded. A girl with snow-white hair stood behind Zamasu with cold eyes. She pulled hard. The filth with purple-blue blood was taken out of Zamasu's body. The girl slowly lifted it up and placed it at eye level. Looking at the heart that was still trembling slightly and dripping blood, her deep voice was slightly dissatisfied. What? It turns out it's not black. Yuo. Zamasu, who had lost his heart, used all his strength to distance himself from Bellies. He covered his chest with one hand and gasped for air. You bastard. Wow, because of his extreme anger and serious injuries, Zamasu spurted out a mouthful of blood again. Losing his heart is not a fatal injury to Zamasu, who has a divine ring. As long as he has time, he can recover. Why are you angry? Bellies said indifferently. The palm holding the heart is gently squeezed. Zai. The heart that was still beating, gently suddenly, turned into a puddle of minced meat. The heart was broken, accompanied by blood splattering everywhere, some even sticking to Bellies' long snow-white hair. Bellies didn't care, and stared at the ferocious Zamasu with her purple eyes. Isn't that how you killed Gervais? Human, you deserve to die. Zamasu's eyes were bloodshot, and his whole body was shaking with anger. Looking at the angry Zamasu, Bellies said in a calm voice, At the beginning, I was too naive. If I killed you directly, maybe Mr. Rumsey would not die. Bellies, don't tell me you won. The whole hell is under my control, and I am the final player. Zamasu spat out another mouthful of blood and clasped his hands together. Be it the god of destruction or a human being, you will be buried with the underworld of this universe. Page 24. As Zamasu's power was released, the ground and space of hell were shaking violently. Not only hell, but also heaven, and even the entire underworld have become extremely unstable. Goodbye. Wanna run? Bellies stretched out her hand to use the power of destruction to eliminate Zamasu. It's useless. I have calculated the release speed of the power of destruction. The hell I control can temporarily prevent the power of destruction from harming me, giving me enough time to escape. Destroy. Bellies didn't say much and directly launched destruction from a distance. Okay. However, Bellies could not destroy Zamasu until he teleported away. I see. Use the instability of hell to distort the surrounding space so that the power of destruction cannot reach him quickly. But do you really think you can run away? The purple destructive energy on Bellies' body quickly removed the blood stuck to her palms and hair. Otherwise, it would feel weird to be sticky. Zamasu, I left a mark, but it cannot be removed with your strength. After Bellies finished speaking, the trembling hell gradually stabilized. When the demonized spirit tree appeared, I knew that one day you would come to the underworld. Only the deepest part of the underworld, the hell with countless marks and desires of evil people, can allow you to complete your transformation. I won this game, Zamasu. Bellies used teleportation to leave the scope of hell. Chapter 25, The End of Zamasu. In a certain planet in the universe. Cough. Zamasu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. his eyes full of resentment. The hideous wound on his chest has healed. Repairing the injury, I actually spent so much energy. Zamasu felt that his current energy was probably less than half of what he was in his prime. Bellies, I have to say that you are really my mentor and helpful friend. When the outcome is uncertain, it is best to have a retreat and be prepared to fail. This is what you reminded me at the beginning. But you shouldn't be an inferior creature, like a human being. As a god, she felt pity that Bellies was just an ordinary human being. Because many times, Bellies' suggestions or words made him, as a god, shine. When she was confused, Bellies told him that the justice of power is not determined by the power itself, but by the user. These words made him suddenly enlightened. Human beings should not exist. In my justice, human beings are a blasphemy against God. Even you can't do it. Zamasu's eyes were filled with madness. My dear friend, for the sake of my justice and the justice of the entire universe, please die in peace. The next time we meet, I will hold the highest funeral for you and use your blood to light my beacon of justice. I'm sorry, I'm not interested in your justice, and I don't recognize you as my best friend because I don't want to be short-lived. There is no big reason, everything is so simple. A girl with long snow-white hair, dressed in pharaoh-style clothing, stood not far from Zamasu. Zamasu opened his mouth and was speechless for a moment. It took a long time for Zamasu to come back to his senses. Remembering the way Bellies suddenly appeared behind him in hell. It's really teleportation. Only a Kaioshin can learn talents, and you actually learned it. Does that mean that you also have the creative power of a Kaioshin? Is this important? Bailey said calmly. Haha, Zamasu laughed dryly, then shook his head. It's really not important anymore. Are you here to kill me? Although he didn't know what the other party had done to him, since he could find himself using teleportation, judging from his current state, it was unlikely that he would have a chance to escape. Let's do it. It's not bad to die in your hands. Why not use the title God? You still laugh at me now, Zamasu said with a hint of anger in his tone. No, I didn't mean to laugh at you. Belly said, I have another purpose here, which is to tell you about Gervais. He never blamed you. What? Zamasu was stunned. Zamas, I once mentioned to Gervais, intentionally or unintentionally, that you might have the idea of killing him. Belly's voice paused for a while. Do you know what Gervais responded at that time? What did he say? Zamasu's body trembled slightly. Jivas's original words were that Zamasu is a very talented and independent child. If one day he really commits an act of murdering his master, the most likely reason is that I don't understand him. If I can use my death to get that child back on track, I think it's worth it. Bellies couldn't help but think of the 10th universe's Kavas in the original work. Even though he knew that the future Zamasu would kill his future self, Kavas still wanted to move him with his true feelings. Bellies would not comment on this approach, but she knew that she would never be able to do such a thing. She is a relatively selfish person. Kavas, teacher. Zamasu's voice was low and trembling slightly. No wonder. When he stabbed Gerva's chest with his knife, there was regret and helplessness on Gerva's face, but there was no trace of hatred towards him. Turns out he knew all along. Zamasu, people have feelings, even gods are no exception. You gain power from desires, and you can more or less be able to sense those souls. Even heinous people will have a pure heart. Harbor. Bellies was silent for a moment and continued. Transforming and strengthening the desire spirit tree to increase strength, or using the soul of hell to perfect yourself. If I were not the god of destruction, I would not care at all. If you're not in your position, you don't want to do what you want. Zamasu thought of what Bellies once said. That's right, Bellies nodded. You really don't hide it at all. I think those hell souls often put some so-called righteousness in their memories to cover up their selfish desires. Zamasu said. It's not necessary, and I don't want to become that kind of person. Bellies answered calmly. Combining the power of destruction and creation, Bellies, you might be a good god. Zamasu smiled in relief, wondering if the man's words were good even if he was about to die. You are right. Gods, like humans, have selfish motives and desires. Even a self-proclaimed god like me is only doing things for my own selfish desires. Who am I qualified to judge human beings who do the same? Woolen cloth. Can you answer a question for me? The madness had faded from Zamasu's eyes, and he asked Bellies, "Why did you want to kill me when you first met me? Could it be that, as I said before, you had already predicted the future?" Hearing this, Bellies was silent for a long time and replied softly, "I can see it." Only 3 words. Bellies didn't think about putting the plot of Dragon Ball into Zamasu's mind. Call her cautious or suspicious, but even now, she still doesn't trust Zamasu. Who knows whether the Zamasu in front of him will be resurrected like the Dragon Ball heroes? In short, be careful. Really, Zamasu could see that Bellies was hiding something, but he didn't care. "Let's do it. The god of destruction is very busy at work. Is it okay to chat here with a sinner like me?" Zamasu said suddenly. Bellies replied, slowly raising her hand and pointing her palm at Zamasu. A whisper of destruction. Zamasu's body is slowly disappearing. Not only his body, but also his soul will be erased. "Are we still friends?" Zamasu, who had half of his body wiped out, suddenly heard a word. However, as the consciousness of his body and soul disappeared little by little, Zamasu never waited for Bellies' response. "Thanks." Before disappearing, Zamasu left 2 last words. A ray of breeze ruffled Bellies' long, snow-white hair that slightly covered her eyes. Her purple eyes had turned back to black. I didn't deny it. He brushed the bangs that covered his eyes to one side and looked at the red sun in the sky that had dropped to the ground line. Bellies murmured, "Maybe everyone will have their own shining point." In a sense, his ability to learn the creative power of Kaioshin has a lot to do with observing the practice of Zamasu Kaioshin. If he hadn't connected with Zamasu and Gervais, I'm afraid it wouldn't have been so easy to learn the power of Kaioshin. Of course, her original purpose of coming to Kaioshin realm to eat and drink was to train Zamasu well so that he would not be too paranoid, at least not to kill Kaioshin. Chapter 26. The goal was not achieved, but in the end, he became a vested interest. It sounds a bit ridiculous. Chapter 26. It's just a Golden King beast. It's very easy to fill in the questions. After taking care of things in the underworld, Bellies returned to the god of destruction realm, first going to pay homage to Rumsey, the god of destruction in the Tomb of Cloths. Then Bellies came to the Kaioshin realm. The last time I came here seemed to be 5 years ago, which is quite a long time when I think about it. In front of the tomb of Kaiwin Kavas. Zamasu is dead. Even if I say this, I'm afraid you won't be happy. After all, he is your disciple, and you still have high expectations for him. Looking at the tomb with the cross on it, Bellies murmured, "Senior Gervais, if you have anything you want to say, please wait until you are resurrected. If possible, I will listen to your sincere teachings then." Bellies will definitely do it to resurrect Rumsey, the god of destruction. Whether she can do it is another matter. Gervais is incidental. Of course it would be best if he could be resurrected, but if he couldn't, it didn't matter. There is a difference between closeness and distance. The god of destruction of the 10th universe picked her up from her wandering in the universe and took her as a disciple. Although there is a system to protect her body, she can always drift in the universe. But no one knows what would have happened if Rumsey hadn't picked it up. Maybe one day you wake up from a deep sleep and find that you are installed in a certain laboratory vessel. Bellies will remember this kindness. What's more, after Ramsey accepted her as a disciple, he taught her very carefully. How to put it, if she hadn't destroyed the god realm, it's hard to say whether she could have become a Super Saiyan at her current age, let alone the pinnacle of the universe. Don't think that becoming a Super Saiyan is easy. In the original work, Trunks, Goten, and others benefited from the influence of Vegeta and Goku, and their bloodline is inherited. Saiyans in general, especially Saiyans from Universe 7. Super Saiyan. Isn't that a legend that is rare in 1,000 years? For example, she traveled through planet Vegeta, from birth to Jinyu's explosion of the planet. The combat power value is only 58,000. To be honest, she was really depressed at the time. From the age of 7 to 10, the combat effectiveness increased by 1,000 a year, and there was no hope of survival. Fortunately, due to various accidents, she not only jumped from the 7th universe to the 10th universe, but was also picked up by the passing god of destruction Rumsey and the angel X. Speaking of which, I have been in the 10th universe for 10 years. How many decades are there in life? I don't know what happened to the 7th universe. Crossing the universe requires angelic permission. If she wanted to visit the 7th universe, she would have to get the official letter of appointment from the king's palace and let Angel Kessie wake up. After paying homage to Kavas, Bellies returned to the god of destruction. The chat group has not been opened for many days, and Bellies is also a little curious about what the chat group is like. Isn't it a mess? Put your awareness into it, and the offline marked on the chat group avatar will become online. Bellies wanted to look through the previous chat history. It's quite exciting to think about peeping. Well, live broadcast, it's still on screen. The button to enter the live broadcast room video appears at the bottom right of the chat group. That's weird, Ying. Are you familiar with everyone? There is actually a live broadcast. However, Bellies did not enter the live broadcast room immediately, but noticed that the number of group members was 2 more than before. Zerf, the black mage in Fairy Tale, and Arena, the protagonist of Witch's Journey. 2 more interesting magical worlds. Bellies read the introductions of the 2 people, and then entered Ying's live broadcast room. During the live broadcast, a scene appeared that shocked Bellies. A golden dragon several hundred meters long. Well, with a dragon body and a wolf head, this thing should be considered a dragon, right? Probably Tilda. This dragon and wolf was lying straight on the ground. The wolf head that was supposed to be very majestic was now somewhat unrecognizable. The eyes and nose are arched, especially the 2 eye sockets, which are dark, like panda eyes, which is quite incompatible with the majestic appearance of the entire dragon and wolf. The mouth of this dragon and wolf is still opening and closing, and the sound that seems to be coming out is Abe Abe. Bellies' mouth twitched. What is Ying doing? Did this thing offend her or something? The upright lying corpse creature seems to be called the Golden King Beast. I saw that in the live broadcast room, the Golden King Beast moved its huge body and tried to stand up its head. The Golden King Beast is about to rise. Boom! The head was hit again, and the Golden King Beast's head, which was still fully raised, hit the ground hard again. In his mouth, he said nonsense again, Ababa Ababa. This is so pitiful, Bellies complained speechlessly. The clearly visible sword mark on the Golden King Beast's forehead was made by someone using the sword in his hand as a brick. Are you satisfied? If you are satisfied, come home with me. If you are not satisfied, we will continue to consume it. Ying flicked the exclusive 6-star artifact in her hand with her fingers and glanced at the big guy next to her from the corner of her eye. Spider, the dragon, is so pitiful. He was beaten for 2 days and 2 nights. Zerf, the Golden King Beast, is actually a man-made thing. It seems to be more powerful than me, but I don't know if it can kill me. I'm really curious about what kind of person can create the Golden King Beast. The battle between Ying and the Golden King Beast surprised Zeref as the Great Mage. First, I was surprised by the production of the Golden King Beast, because he has also created living demons, and he knows very well how difficult it is to create such a powerful so-called alchemical creature. Even he can hardly do it. And Ying, this seemingly petite girl, is actually over 500 years old. It does not matter. The important thing is that this girl named Ying is called a girl for now. The strength is completely superior to that of his great mage. Too strong. It can almost be said that if the fight against the Golden King Beast was not to subdue the Golden King Beast, the battle would have ended long ago. Irina, is this the world of the strong? I'm really still far behind. She had just graduated from Witch Academy and thought that her abilities were pretty good. After all, she was the best in the academy. It is impossible to say that there is no pride. However, I had seen Zeref perform magic smoothly before, and I had seen Ying almost completely beaten, fighting an extremely terrifying Golden King Beast. She felt that she was too small. Irina touched the book named Nicole in her hand. Take a deep breath. I have decided I will become the strongest witch in the world in the future. If given the chance, she would like to travel to various worlds again and browse the customs of different worlds. Write a book that is better than Nicole. When Irina was full of hope, outside the door stood a woman in an apron. The woman was Irina's mother. She had long gray hair and a beautiful face. She was almost a mature version of Irina. She is a powerful witch and the author of Irina's favorite book, The Adventures of Nico. In other words, the book The Adventures of Nico is the travel information of this expired witch. Nicole has seen the changes in her daughter during this period. Although she didn't know what was going on, it didn't seem to be dangerous, so the powerful witch just observed in secret and did not interfere. The strongest witch, this is not something that can be easily accomplished. Also, little Irina, are you hiding something from me? Nicole stood outside the door of Irina's room and did not go in. But Nicole can almost see everything inside Irina through magic. Irina's character has become much calmer. I don't know whether it's good or bad. She has already sent a message to her disciples, and they should arrive soon. Chapter 27. Being Irina's teacher will definitely interest Fran, who has been bullied by me, but Irina may surprise you. Chapter 27. The Great Priest arrives. The number one princess in the world. Ying, how could you get involved with the Golden King Beast? The information that appeared on the public screen suddenly made the entire chat group lively. Spidersy, hey, the group leader is alive. Oh no, the group leader is online. I haven't seen the group leader for many days. Did the group leader miss the lovely Spidersy? The world's number one princess. I think roasted spiders taste good. Spidersy, spiders are so cute. How can the group leader eat spiders? The world's number one princess. Don't be weird. Tell me what happened during this period, by the way, and welcome a new group member at Chinese letter, at Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Irina. Zerf, is this the leader of the group? Is he stronger than Ying and Madara Uchiha? Excuse me, can you kill me? The world's number one princess. The person who makes such a request may have something seriously wrong with his head. The world's number one princess. At Zeref, you are still very young. In my world, there are many people who have lived hundreds of thousands of years. The world's number one princess. You don't want to live because of the curse, right? Zerf, yes, because. The world's number one princess. No need to explain. As long as you join the chat group, I will know the trajectory of the original world. The world's number one princess. I'm afraid you've also thought about how to control the curse, but you can't, right? Ying, the curse on Zeref should be due to the gap in personality. If you want to lift it, you must have or even surpass the power of the god who cursed Zeref in the first place. Ying, oh, by the way, group leader, you just asked me why I was causing trouble for the Golden King Beast. There is a plan to use the Golden King Beast next, so I thought about it and captured him. The world's number one princess. Look, have you and Zeref discussed the curse? Bellies didn't ask much about Ying's plan. It was none of her business anyway, so why did she care so much? But she was still more concerned about the curse. The Abyss Princess Ying is completely different from the Traveler Ying. To put it simply, the former is very cold, and the latter is like a blonde fool who wants rough stones. If Ying takes the initiative to take up the topic of Zeref, it means that she is interested in the curse placed on him, and may even have asked about it in detail. Ying, yes, Zeref and I have discussed related issues. There are certain similarities between the curse in him and the curse placed on Canria by heaven. It is very difficult to lift it by yourself. The world's number one princess. The so-called curse usually refers to the application of laws. Ying, since you can master the abyss without being corrupted, you should also be able to understand the laws. Ying, you can use it, but you have to understand it. Ying sighed. If she really understood, she wouldn't be hopeless at saving the people of Canria. He glanced at the Golden King Beast, who was about to struggle to get up. Ying used the weapon as a stick and struck it hard on the forehead. Bang! The Golden King Beast was crying again and fainted. The world's number one princess. Don't worry. When the chat group reaches level 3, a time travel function will appear. If you want to learn from each other, it's good to help. Zerf, level 3. What level is the chat group now? The world's #1 princess, level 1. Zerf. Doesn't that take a long time? Bai was excited. The Golden King Beast, who was originally willing to die and not surrender, was worried that he would be knocked stupid, but finally surrendered to the wise saying of true fragrance. Ying turned off the live broadcast. Looking at the quiet live broadcast room, Bellies' consciousness also left it. Of course, it's not offline. Because just now, the chat group issued a warning to her. A strong person who could threaten her entered her universe. Strong. Bellies' eyebrows narrowed slightly. She didn't feel anything unusual in the universe. However, if the opponent is stronger than her after using the rules of the universe, it is not surprising that he cannot be discovered. Since the chat group has issued a warning, it's better to be careful. Not long after, a space portal appeared in the sky above the god of destruction. Then, a man wearing blue clothes and a divine ring on his head came out. The man was not tall, not even powerful, and looked a little helpless. When she saw the other party appearing, Bailey's pupils suddenly shrank. Then, wearing the costume of the god of destruction, she landed on one knee in a half-squatting position. I've met the Great Priest. The man in front of him, known as the Great Priest, was hovering quietly in midair. He looked at Bellies for a while and said with a peaceful voice, "Don't be nervous. Regarding your matter, Kessie mentioned to me that the new god of destruction of Universe 10, Bellies, is very good. You can change the overall strength of Universe 10 from the third to last in such a short period of time. Promoted to 6th from the bottom. Even Lord Quan Wang has a high opinion of you." Bellies nodded slightly and said respectfully, "This is what a subordinate should do. The 10-year period is coming soon. I came here specifically to take a look. Please don't worry." The Great Priest slowly descended into the god of destruction realm, his tone still so peaceful. Bellies was stunned when she heard this. Isn't there still 5 years left? Okay. The High Priest showed confusion on his face, pondered for a moment, and then laughed. I see, I remembered it wrong. Bellies was speechless for a while. It's okay. I remembered it wrong. That's my responsibility. The High Priest raised his lips slightly and looked at Bells with a scrutinizing gaze, which made Belle feel a lot of pressure. Well, what do you want? The Great Priest spread his hands. Just think of it as compensation for my mistake in remembering the time. You can make any requests. A smile appeared on the High Priest's face, but he always felt that there was something in the other person's words. I want to use the Dragon of God to resurrect Mr. Rumsey. I wonder if the Great Priest can agree. I don't know what kind of medicine the Great Priest sells in his gourd, but this is indeed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. To use the Dragon of God, you need to cross the universe, and there are more than one. If you can get official permission from the Great Priest, even if you meet the God of Destruction and the Angel of the Two Universes later, you don't have to worry about problems. Moreover, Belly still has some selfish motives for going to the 7th universe. Dragon God, the dragon created by God. The High Priest did not answer immediately. He turned around, seemed to think for a while, then looked back at Bellies and said, I remember that you are from the 7th universe. Yes, Bellies nodded. Now that it has been seen, there is nothing to deny. Repeated excuses may only make the High Priest unhappy. That's right, that does comply with the rules. After the High Priest finished speaking, he took out a gold-rimmed token from his pocket. In the middle of the token, there is a word Chinese letter engraved on it. Take it and collect wishing beads. Universes 6 and 7 won't embarrass you. Thank you very much, High Priest. Belly's voice was a little excited as she took the token handed over by the High Priest. The High Priest nodded, took a few steps back, and a space portal appeared behind him. By the way, after you make your wish, you can come to Lord Quan Wang's palace as soon as possible. Is that okay? Yes. Bellies, the High Priest said with a slight smile, the wish of the divine dragon is very precious, so don't waste it casually. After the High Priest finished speaking, he didn't even give Bellies time to think, and retreated directly into the portal. The portal slowly disappeared. Bellies stood up, looked at the somewhat primitive token in her hand, and murmured, Don't waste your wishes. What does he mean? Bellies felt vaguely uneasy. Chapter 20, 8 The Great Priest and the King. The Great Priest is so powerful that it's scary. Holding the token engraved with the word big in her hand, Bailey's chest heaved. It took a long time for her to calm down her uneasy mood. Through the power of the chat group, Bellies barely sensed the strength of the Great Priest. The High Priest showed no arrogance from beginning to end, but just standing beside him was like the center of all the laws of the universe. Fortunately, even the Great Priest could not discover the existence of the system. Page 27. In this way, Bellies' anxious heart was slightly relieved. Bellies took a deep breath and called to the chat group. System, help me check if there is any backhand to this token. A few seconds later. Ding, the token is made of special material and is not connected to any cause and effect. Is it just a symbol? Bellies recalled what the Great Priest said before. Maybe I'm too worried. Bellies shook her head. She had to be cautious. After all, the Great Priest was so powerful that he could easily wipe her out. But no matter what, I owe you a favor. No matter what medicine the Great Priest sells in his gourd, he must go to the 6th and 7th universes once. The King's Palace. On the high platform, King Quan sat upright. The High Priest bowed slightly, thinking about how to speak. Hey, didn't the new god of destruction come back? Quan Wang, who had a head like a braised egg, was a little curious when he saw that the High Priest had not spoken since he came back. The transition period between the old and new god of destruction has not yet come, and there seems to be something wrong with the time flow rate in the 10th universe. The High Priest pondered for a while and replied. Same as 20 years ago, King Quan asked an irrelevant question. Uncertain. The High Priest shook his head. Before I came back, I observed all the parallel universes that had appeared. There was no god of destruction named Bellies. Even planet Vegeta in the 7th universe did not find a Saiyan princess named Bellies. This means our universe is special. 20 years ago, a big event happened in the Quan Wang universe. The entire King universe, even many places including the Dragon Realm, washed by a mysterious rule. The result of the investigation by all parties is that there will no longer be a parallel world in the universe. Hey, Great Priest. King Quan jumped down from his seat and stood beside the Great Priest. No other discoveries. She is very mysterious. I don't know if the Saiyan princess knows about her. The High Priest thought for a while and replied, once I have any ill intentions towards her, I will feel invincible in my heart. The strength of the laws that permeate her body even exceeds the sum of the coefficients in the entire universe. Hey, is it so scary? That vast and boundless law seems to be just to ensure her safety. The High Priest expressed his speculation. Seeing that King Quan did not continue to ask, the High Priest paused for a moment and continued. The Saiyan princess wants to use the wishing beads to resurrect the former god of destruction Rumsey. According to the rules of the Dragon Realm, she is a creature born in the 7th universe and can use the wishing beads, so I have no choice but to give it to her. I wonder, Mr. Quan Wang, what you mean. She'll be here soon, won't she? Quan Wang, who had been silent for a long time, used his still childish voice. I'm also curious about Salama's opinion. King Quan slowly walked back to his seat, and the wisdom in his eyes turned into wisdom again. Destroy the divine realm. Bellies did not immediately travel to other universes to collect the Super Dragon Balls. Before leaving Universe 10, she must make some preparations. In addition, Zamasu's previous crazy behavior has caused Hell to be in an unstable state until now. She also needs some time to notice. Otherwise, if she leaves with her front foot, the underworld and Hell will explode on the spot. That's a huge sin. However, it was quite leisurely. Let the people in the underworld report on their work every day, and then watch the chat group in the God of Destruction realm with peace of mind. At this time, in the chat group, Spider, help, I've met a big boss. The world's #1 princess. Spider, look, it's this JPG. Spider Z sent a picture, which was a screenshot of the big boss. The world's #1 princess, Ariel the Demon King. Spider, yes, that's her. No wonder I feel so familiar. Spider's eye also reacted. Isn't it the name Q-Lai mentioned when he fought the fire dragon before? The original Spider, the Devil Ariel. Spider Z, my dear, the leader of the group, I feel like I'm about to die. Uchi Hamadara, the attribute gap is a bit big. Demon King Ariel's attribute layout made Uchiha Madara a little speechless when he saw it. Not to mention the long list of health and magic values, the following skills are almost all at full level. Although I don't know what Spider Zai's current attribute layout is like, I don't think it is possible for Spider Zai to improve to the number in the picture she sent in such a short period of time. Spider, that's right. The world's #1 princess. Let me ask you a question, is your body minister still there? Spider, Minister of Health. Hey, I haven't contacted her for a long time. The world's #1 princess. That's it, then work hard, I won't help you this time. Spider, The world's #1 princess. Because this is a test, I can't help you every time. Moreover, I will reveal a secret about the future to you. Spider, what secret? Spider Zai has escaped the devil's first pursuit, so now he can talk to the group leader so leisurely. The world's #1 princess, Ariel, the Demon King, will be your future best friend. A very good friend, someone who can stick with you. Are you surprised? Spider, Uchiha Madara. Is this my relationship with Hashirama? The world's #1 princess. Uchiha Madara, do you want to see what you're talking about? When I put a question mark, it's not that I have a problem, but that I think you have a problem. Skip Uchiha Madara's topics that don't fit the conversation. The #1 princess in the world. At Spider Zai, try to delay as long as you can. As long as you can escape safely from the devil a few more times, then the Devil Ariel will take the initiative to reconcile with you. The world's #1 princess. Come on, little Spider. Spider. How many times had he escaped from the devil's hands, with a narrow escape every time? It seems that the group owner can't count on it. Spider Z went to the group leader for help out of luck, knowing in her heart that the group leader would not be able to help her. Demon King Ariel is very strong. But unlike Evil God D and Q-Lai, they are completely terrifying existences that exceed the limits of the system. Since there is no external aid, then save yourself. She, Spider, needs to stand up. Chapter 29, Irina, Princess of the Abyss. By Zai and Ariel's murderous love affair. In the original novel, if Spider-Girl's body had not eroded Ariel's consciousness, the two would never have been able to reconcile. Bailey's had no intention of helping Spider Zai. She had made an agreement with Evil God D before. Evil God D would save Spider Zai's life before Spider Zai became a god. Therefore, even if Spider-Man is chased by the Demon King Ariel, Bailey's is not worried. Irina, Teacher Zaref, thanks for your teaching, I have become an official witch. In the chat group, Irina's message suddenly popped up. Witch. In the original novel, Irina became a witch a year later. Bellies thought thoughtfully, is there such a big difference in the speed of time flow in different worlds in the group? Page 28. Or is it that Zaref's teachings to Irina caused Irina to become a witch significantly earlier? In the anime Journey of the Witch, Irina has excellent magical talent. In order to suppress Irina's temper, Irina's mother Nicole found her former disciple as Irina's teacher. Before becoming the Grey Witch in the original novel, Irina served Fran almost as a servant for almost a year. In just a few days, Irina actually graduated. Zerf, at Chinese letter, this is the result of your own efforts. I'm just giving you some inspiration. You don't need to call me teacher. Irina, yes, Mr. Zaref. Zerf, that's not necessary, just call me by my name. In the God of Destruction realm, I watched the conversation between Zaref and Irina in the chat group. To be honest, Bellies was a little curious. How many days have passed in Irina's world? It seems that the flow of time in the world of each group member is different. For example, Spider-Man actually developed into a battle with the Demon King Ariel, the world's #1 princess. At Chinese letter, how did you graduate from your teacher Fran and how long did it take? Irina, in 1 week, it only takes me 1 week to defeat teacher Fran. Irina, Teacher Fran also said that I will probably surpass that witch named Nicole in the future. Irina's explanation made Bellies a little surprised. The flow of time is indeed different. Also, the plot gets messy. After thinking about it for a while, Bellies decided to tell Irina about Nicole. The world's #1 princess. Adelina, do you know where the Nicole witch is? Irina, does the group leader know? Irina became interested as soon as she heard about Nicole. The adventures of Nicole can be said to be her enlightenment reading. The #1 princess in the world. Adelina, there is no need to learn how to speak like a spider. She has a completely weird speech habit. You can call me the leader of the group or Bellies. The world's #1 princess. The author of The Adventures of Nicole is by your side. Guess who it is? Irina by my side, could it be Teacher Fran? There seems to be only one witch beside her, Teacher Fran. The world's #1 princess. Your Teacher Fran is Nicole's disciple. Irina, really? Irina looked excited. She didn't expect that her favorite Nicole, her disciple, was beside her, and she was also Irina's teacher. It's really Teacher Fran, who didn't reveal anything at all. Lying on the lawn, Irina rolled back and forth in death. The world's #1 princess. Adelina, actually you've seen Nicole too. The message that popped up in the chat group made Irina a little confused. When had she seen Nicole? Is there any powerful witch in this small town? Carefully enter information into the chat group. Irina, they are residents of the town. Could it be that witch Nico is living in seclusion here? The more you think about it, the more likely it is for you. Don't we often see stories in novels about powerful witches who, after traveling around the world, would find a quiet place to hide in seclusion and study magic? The world's #1 princess. At Irina, let me give you a clue about Nicole. She has the same gray hair as you, and her personality is similar to yours. She is very arrogant. Irina, group leader, you're slandering me. I don't care. The world's #1 princess. Listen to me, there is one last clue, please listen carefully. Looking at the chat group, Irina held her breath while concentrating. The world's #1 princess. The last clue is, Irina, you can see her every day, and she also found your teacher Fran. Seeing the information on the public screen, Irina slowly put a question mark above her head. Gray hair dandruff can be seen every day, plus Teacher Fran. Not to mention the last one, Teacher Fran was a witch she accidentally met while practicing magic in the back mountain. However, the first 3 conditions. Irina. This excludes the possibility that the group owner is deceiving himself. An image of someone appeared in her mind. Impossible, absolutely impossible. How could her gentle mother be Nicole, and moreover, be more disdainful than her? Irina walked home with a dazed look on her face. Unknowingly, I returned to the living room and happened to see my mother cooking lunch. Nika. Irina could not connect the powerful witch traveling around the world with the mother in front of her. Mom, Teacher Fran, did you find me? Irina's mother did not answer, but brought a basin of snacks from the kitchen and placed it on the table in front of Irina. Irina, what did you guess? You are Nicole. Irina asked tentatively, her hands unconsciously placed under the dining table and rubbed the hem of her skirt. Yeah, I thought I could hide it from Irina for a little longer. I didn't expect that I would be discovered so soon. Nicole reached out and touched Irina's gray hair, showing a gentle smile. Why? After all, Irina did not travel for a long time like in the original novel, and was not prepared for her identity as a mother. She can now be said to be a newbie who has just become a witch, at least in terms of experience. If you are Nicole, why do you want Teacher Fran to teach you? Teacher Fran is your disciple, right? Irina didn't understand why she had to borrow the help of others to teach her daughter, even though she was a powerful witch. Irina, do you want to listen to the truth? Since Irina said the word Nico and had some guesses about Fran's identity, it was not surprising. Irina nodded. Because it's hard to attack? After all, she is my daughter, so I would feel a little guilty if I attack her harshly. Moreover, when Fran was my disciple, I often bullied her. I think she must be very interested in teaching Irina. Is that your reason? Irina's pupils were dilated, and she looked at her mother up and down, as if it was the first day she met her. Is this person really her mother? Shouldn't it be a package swap? Just like the group leader said, it's so disdainful. Hey, Irina is angry. Nicole scratched Irina's nose. Actually, I originally wanted Fran to calm down your temper. Your magic talent is too strong among your peers. Such pride will be very troublesome in the future. But in the end, I changed my mind. Nicole paused. Dunn said, because little Irina seems to have found her own way. Can you tell Mom what happened in the past half-month? Irina hesitated in her heart. Irina is the group leader here. Can I reveal something about the chat group to the outside world? Irina was a little worried, so she asked the group leader for her opinion first. The world's #1 princess. Okay, but please pay attention to safety. Irina, thank you. With the permission of the group leader, Irina told Nicole about joining the chat group. Nicole listened carefully to Irina's unexpected situation. Irina actually found the teacher, and that teacher sounds much more powerful than me, but is his curse a curse from the gods? Nicole held her chin in thought. After a long time, Nicole looked at Irina and smiled slightly. Irina, is it the reason why you want to be the strongest witch in the group? Yeah, that's it, Mom. Then work hard. My daughter, even compared to people in other worlds, can't be too weak. Nicole thought for a while and said, let's do this. In the next month, I will personally train Irina. With Irina's strength, Nicole originally wanted her to travel to the mainland first. But it seems now, Irina takes strength more seriously, and since there are opportunities in other worlds, it is impossible for a mother to stop them. Really? Mom wants to teach me. Irina was a little excited. Growing up, it seems that I have never seen my mother perform magic, but judging from the conversation just now, maybe I am still too weak to notice it. Irina's matter has come to an end for the time being. The other side. Teyvat continent. Your Highness, Liyu's invitation ceremony has begun. Yuan Shang stood behind Ying and reported. How are you preparing? Ying heard this and glanced behind him. Chapter 30. Everything is ready. As long as His Highness can hold Morax back, even if we start a full-scale war with Liyu, we will be sure to take him down. Chapter 30. Ying's plan. The life of a god of destruction is simple and unpretentious. I listen to my subordinates' work reports every day and eat 1 or 2 spirit tree fruits when I'm thirsty. If I'm really bored, I just check the chat group for any new information. However, there really is. Ying, do you want to watch the live broadcast? Spider's Eye, yes, at Ying, what kind of live broadcast is it? Cooking. Ying, it's not food. Ying, who was near Liu, was speechless. This foodie spider couldn't think of anything else besides eating. However, Osul has something to do with fish. Ying, it's the demon god attacking the city. It might be very lively. Uchiha Madara, demon. Zerf, a god. Ying, it's okay to say it's a god, but it's a god that failed and was sealed. In terms of strength, there's still a big gap between it and the orthodox gods in the mainland today. Uchiha Madara, how does it compare to you? Ying, do you want to tell the truth? Uchiha Madara. Ying, at Uchiha Madara, Osul was stronger than you when he was in his prime. However, after being sealed for so long, if the seal is broken after a while, only part of his body and strength will come out. His strength should be the same as yours. When group leaders fight, it's between brothers. In the battle between Uchiha Madara and the group leader, Ying also watched the video captured by Spider. Demon God Osul is indeed stronger than Madara Uchiha. Any demon god who has participated in the candidates for the 7 consuls has laws. Uchiha Madara. How should I answer this? The combat power of Shura, a dignified ninja world, is not even as good as that of a demon god who is constantly weakened by seals, and can only be equivalent to a part of its strength. The world's #1 princess. At Uchiha Madara, Ying is telling the truth. If you can reach the 6th level, you may be able to compete with weaker demons. Uchiha Madara, is the gap so big? 6 paths, that is his ultimate goal, and the result is this. The first princess of the world, any demon god can be regarded as the incarnation of the law. Let me give you an example. the demon god of salt is recognized as the weakest in the Teyvat continent. After her death, she exploded with energy, which was enough to destroy a city. It has become a dead land without any vegetation. The first princess of the world. Of course, the laws of each world are different and cannot be generalized, but generally speaking, from power to law, this is the only way for most worlds. Most, not all. Just like the Dragon Ball world, have Son Goku and Vegeta mastered the rules? No, at least by the Dragon Ball Super timeline, the two barely knew what the law was. Saiyans are a fighting nation and use their bodies to memorize power. La, what is that? Did you feel full after one meal? If you can eat a meal for dozens or hundreds of people in one sitting and can also calculate the rules then, Saiyans do understand the rules. Well, they are born. Except for her, of course. Zerf, the law. If I can master the curse in my body, does it count as being in contact with the law? The first princess of the world. Yes, but it can only be considered preliminary contact. Most creatures, according to different races, sometimes also have talents themselves. This kind of thing can also reluctantly follow the rules, but it is not control, but use it reluctantly through your own bloodline memory. The world's #1 princess. For example, Uchiha Madara's Sharingan, or my previous transformation, are actually a type of bloodline memory. Spider, it's so profound, I can't understand it at all. The #1 princess in the world. At Spider's Eye, there is no need to understand. As long as you keep getting stronger, you will automatically be exposed to it when the time comes. I just want to tell you in advance. The world's #1 princess. By the way, the system layout created by evil god D can be regarded as a kind of law. The world's #1 princess. At Ying, where has your world line developed? By the way, what are you planning to do? Thinking of Ying, the golden beast he brought back from the wild could only say Abba, Abba. Ying, I want to wait until my brother leaves his wife before starting the plan. The world's #1 princess, the one who shakes Sky Island. Ying, yes, Osel, I must get it. The world's #1 princess. Morex won't watch, are you sure? Ying, a guy who is silent about the wear and tear of the laws of nature, probably doesn't even have the strength to fight against the demons back then. What Ying said made bellies think. In terms of tone, are you not happy with Morex? The world's #1 princess. Where are those immortals? What are you going to do? Liu seems to have many birds and beasts. Although it can't compare with Morex, it is still an immortal who has lived for thousands of years. Ying, that's the extent of our strength. At most, we can deal with some weaker demon gods by working together. Even the laws were barely understood by the immortal, who had traveled through countless worlds, and Ying didn't care in his heyday. Moreover, the power of the abyss can restrain them. The world's #1 princess. Put the abyss on the bright side, Ying. Have you thought about the consequences? Ying, we may not be able to fight. Morex also has his own plans. Who would be willing to endure the wear and tear imposed on the gods by the laws of heaven in silence, unless they were unable to resist? The world's #1 princess. It's good to have a plan. If there is any accident, I can help you once. It is limited to saving people, not defeating the enemy. Bellies still likes Ying very much, probably because of the sequelae of playing Genshin Impact before time travel. However, it is not possible to help without limit. Moreover, Bellies also wanted to observe the laws of Teyvat up close. In this case, it may be of some help to your own strength. Ying, thank you. Spider's Eye. Ooh, Zen. The world's #1 princess. Where are you dead? I think you are quite free and want to watch Ying's live broadcast. Spider, where there is. I am using this as a reference. Spider, Dad, do you know? This is the second time I escaped the devil's pursuit, but I was still torn into pieces. It's so scary. If it weren't for the system skills, the group leader would probably not be able to see the cute one. It's a spider, woo-hoo-hoo tilde. The world's #1 princess. Just torn apart, with your head flying out and floating everywhere. Spidersy, the group leader is still laughing at me. The #1 princess in the world. No, I am very optimistic about you. Come on, if you do it a few more times, the devil will not be able to help but reconcile. Spider, It felt like before the reconciliation, she had been eaten by the devil or physically. Thinking of the skill on the Demon King's skill board that can eat anything. Spider trembled for a while. Ding, start the live broadcast. Chapter 30 won the siege of Oxera. Outside Liu Harbor, in the direction of Gaian Pavilion. Raging waves rolled up. The pressure belonging to the demon god slowly pressed down on the entire Liu. Uchiha Madara is that five-headed water snake Osul. Through the live broadcast, Uchiha Madara intuitively saw the giant creature with its azure body, and because of its existence, it rolled up a huge tornado vortex that connected the water and the sky. The whole sky was covered with clouds, and it started to rain heavily. The world's #1 princess. The picture you see in the live broadcast is law radiation. As long as you think about it, you can change the natural environment within a range at will. Irina, it's so scary. How to deal with that kind of thing? Irina sat on the sofa at home, projected the chat group footage onto the wall, and followed her mother Nicole to watch the terrifying scenes of the demon god Osul. Zerf, it's very powerful. It seems to be more terrifying than the Golden King beast. Zaref couldn't help but compare it to the black dragon in his own world. I vaguely felt that even that black dragon might not be as good as the demon in front of me. Ying, this is not all of Osul's power. It's just that the seal was broken, revealing part of the body where the power was condensed. Heihara AI, it's becoming more and more magical. As a scientist, Heihara AI really felt that he was stuck. Even if the gods come out, this kind of thing may only be threatened by nuclear bombs. Irina, at Ying, the Osul you want to capture, could it be him? Page 30. Thinking of what Ying and the group leader said in the chat group. Irina trembled. In the world of the boss, the cute new witch is in trouble. Ying, yes, Osul's current strength is nothing to me. Even in his heyday, it was not very difficult to catch him. What I care about is the rock god in Liu City. Uchiha Madara, Morex the rock god, is he very strong? Ying, before being selected as the rock god by Sky Island, his title was God of War, and the whirlpool demon god in front of him was also sealed by him. While Ying was talking to everyone in the group, Osul quickly pushed towards Liu, not only that, but also within the scope of the law's radiation. Thick clouds and torrential rain also began to spread towards Liu City. Spider, what is that flying thing? Spider's eyes were very sharp, and he noticed that somewhere in the panoramic video, there was a building that looked like a spaceship moving towards the whirlpool demon. Ying, it's called Quinyu Pavilion. It seems to be a house built with floating stones that can be suspended. I don't know the details. Spider, I really want it. I really want to live in such a magnificent house. Fluorescent. She really didn't understand Spider's eyes' brain circuit. However, Ying didn't pay attention. There were many strange people in the group, and Spider-Man was not human yet. High in the sky, Ying used the barrier to hide herself, and noticed a familiar figure on the Jade Pavilion. Brother, why is she there? Ying frowned slightly. Yikong only has the strength of 2 elements, so he is at the bottom of the pack of fools. If he really encounters the devil, he will probably die. Trouble. Ying didn't want to be discovered by Morax. At least before the other party completed the deal with the Ice Queen, Ying didn't want to cause trouble. After Osul's incident is over, we have to find a way to get rid of my brother. Well, let Yuan Shang do it, Ying said thoughtfully. After all, if she falls out with Morax, it will be very dangerous for Sora to be here. Ying took a deep breath. Brother's next destination is most likely to be in Azuma, so I will write a letter and ask Fuchikami to take it there, saying that I will meet him at Inazuma so that my brother can avoid what happens next. Ying thought of a solution. Leyline aiming point, able to teleport back. But there is a premise. That is, you can only teleport between the aiming point and the aiming point, but you cannot teleport to the aiming point anywhere. As long as the time is blocked on the way to Deaju, or before Deaju opens the aiming point, the matter can be completed. In the Jade Pavilion, the Immortals landed on the final machine according to the plan and used special formations. The decisive battle with Osul begins. At this moment, abnormal teleportations opened. Fools kept running out of it. Heihara AI, isn't Osel the demon god? Are these strange soldiers his subordinates? Although she didn't know the situation on the Teyvat continent, through the live broadcast, Heihara AI still analyzed some situations scientifically and rigorously. The strange ice fat man and the tall musketeer look like humans. No, it looks more like a modified person than a human being. It seems a bit incompatible with the blue water snake and the whirlpool demon Osel. Ying, that's the fools, the Uzumaki demon god seal, they were the ones who broke it. Bikyo, why do they do this? Even in a different world, a kind-hearted shrine maiden like Kikyo is still quite disgusted with this act of releasing the devil and attacking the city. Ying, the deal between two gods, the deal between the queen of the Winter Kingdom and the Liu rock god. Ying, to put it simply, the rock god faked his death and handed over the power to govern Liu to humans, and Osel is his test for those currently in power. If the situation gets out of control, he will definitely stand up. Ying, the Winter Kingdom is cooperating with the rock god's deal to release the so-called whirlpool monsters. Bikyo, what is their transaction content? Kikyo doesn't quite understand political matters. But after all, these winter fools sent to help the Uzumaki demon god all look like abandoned children. Ying, the heart of God, is a thing that is of no use to the gods, but has other values. The Queen of Winter wants to collect the hearts of all the 7 ruling gods in the world. Platycodon, it's really complicated. She didn't continue to ask, knowing what the heart of God was meant nothing to her. He was thinking of ways to hide his 4-soul jade. Spider, are those cranes and other things immortals? They all look so powerful. Spider's eye was very emotional and continued to watch the blockbuster-like scene. From this position where Ying was, he could clearly see the battle between the people of Quinjade Pavilion and the Whirlpool Demon God. In Quinyu Pavilion, the final machine is the main combat power against the Whirlpool Demon God. Irina, at Ying, can I ask you a question? Fluorescent. Irina, does the blonde boy in the Jade Pavilion have something to do with you? I always feel like you too. Heihara AI. Indeed, after Irina said this, I also think that Ying and the blonde boy are very similar in appearance. Ying, that's my brother Kong. Spider A, at Ying there is actually an older brother. There is such a big gap. Ying, what do you mean? Uchiha Madara, it should be about strength. Is that boy really your brother? Needless to say, Ying's strength was not serious enough to fight against the Golden King Beast. What about the boy below? Strength, in Uchiha Madara's opinion, is pretty good. But that's about it. Ying, my brother and I are about the same strength. If we really want to count, my brother may be stronger than me. Ying, we are in this world, and our power has been sealed by the gods. I woke up 500 years ago and have unlocked the seal, but my brother has only recently broken away from the seal and only partially recovered his strength. Uchiha Madara, isn't it the heyday? Uchiha Madara suddenly realized that he was right when he thought about it. His sister was the princess of the abyss and was very powerful. Brother, if it's just an ordinary level, that's unreasonable. What's more, Ying also said that he traveled through many worlds. If you don't have the strength, how can you wear it? Irina, look, the 4 machines attacking Osel are about to break down, and things are getting worse. Irina didn't know the name of the final machine, but she could tell that these 4 machines were the main force against the devil. If they were gone, there would be big problems. Paying attention to the people in the chat group, his eyes turned to the location of Quinyu Pavilion. It seems to have reached its limit, so is Morex's test a failure or a success? Ying doesn't care about failure or success. It has nothing to do with her. What he cares about is the sky above Quinyu Pavilion. Are you going to take action to save your brother? Ying thought. But she was not in a hurry. She was waiting for Morex's choice. If Morex didn't care about the life and death of his immortals, then Ying would definitely rescue her brother in the end. If Morex chose to take action, there was no need for her to add any unnecessary extravagance. Anyway, before the deal was completed and Kong left Liu, she had no plans for Osel. Chapter 32, Stepping on the Air, Ying unexpectedly takes action. The sea outside Liu is rough. The attack of the final machine made the demon god Osul completely angry. The 5 heads raised up at the same time, gathering the energy balls around their mouths together. The blue-white energy ball illuminates the entire sea that is suppressed by dark clouds. Yingyi is still broadcasting live, with a Ying-style naive look on her face. Uchiha Madara. It's amazing, even through the screen there is such a strong sense of oppression. Zerf, indeed, it is not an exaggeration to say that this kind of power is that of a god. Ying, aside from his appearance, Osul's strength is at the forefront among the demon gods. Even if a little bit of power is leaked, it cannot be easily suppressed by the immortals in Liu. While Ying was talking in the chat group, Osul shot the giant energy ball he gathered into the sky. Like a terrifying laser, it penetrated the entire cloud layer, and the dark sky was like daylight. After a while, the sky shone with azure light. The energy that Osul shot into the sky actually turned into countless water-attributed light arrows, falling to the ground like meteorites. The first thing to bear the brunt is the Jade Pavilion floating in the sky. Countless water arrows fell into Quinyu Pavilion, causing bursts of explosions. With the support of formations, the defense of Quinyu Pavilion was relatively strong. But the final machine used to deal with Osul was completely damaged, and the Liu Kaiyan army stationed at the final machine had to withdraw from the outside inward. The outer formation broke, and travelers stepped on the air. Page 31, Elder Brother. Ying was startled, and her body turned into a golden light and flew towards Quinyu Pavilion. On the other side, the demon-conquering Monkey King saw Kong stepping on the sky and falling, and jumped up a few times to catch the falling Kong. Okay. Golden light passed through his side, and Sora disappeared in the blink of an eye. That was just now. The direction in which the light is flying is the Quinyu Pavilion. The great sage of conquering demons was silent for a while and then disappeared. The golden light surrounding Yingshin disappeared, and Ying led Kong to Quinyu Pavilion. Long time no see, brother, Ying said. Sora's eyes were full of disbelief, and his shoulders that were supported by Ying trembled slightly. Are you, Ying? It's me, I guarantee it's true. Ying smiled, and that smile made Sora feel familiar. We'll talk about the rest after Osul's matter is over. Now is not the time to talk about this. In the chat group, Spider, hey, at Ying, you want to help your brother. Ying, no, I won't help. This is his journey. I just subconsciously saved Kong. I already regret it. Seeing her brother fall through the air, Ying couldn't help but think of saving him, but she hugged him. I felt like, in my heart, where is this place? What am I doing? However, after everyone has been saved, it is impossible to let go and throw him away again. No matter what, they are also close relatives of their own blood, so they have to pay more. Oh bah, even more money won't work. There is no other way. Ying can only bring Kong back here first. The world's #1 princess. Ying, what will you do next? In the plot of Genshin Impact, it seems that there is no such thing, or it is said that Ying was not at the scene at the time, so he did not save Kong, allowing the demon-conquering great sage to succeed. Ying, if you don't show it, I don't believe that Morax is just a mere Osul, and he dares to drag Liu to fight with me. The world's #1 princess. You are very irritable, Ying. After Ying saved Kong, she didn't wait for Kong to ask anything. Everyone in Liu has gathered around. Traveler, this is. Ningguang looked at Kong and then looked at Ying for a while. My sister, I have been looking for her because we were separated before, Sora replied. It turns out she's your sister. Ningguang checked all the information about the traveler and knew that when Kong was in Mondstadt, he asked the Mondstadt Knights to post a missing person notice. Ying, nice to meet you. Ningguang was very interested in Ying. If nothing else, being able to save her brother in the situation just now showed her strength. Giant Ying nodded and said nothing, and it was difficult for her to find a topic. Ningguang also knew that now was not the time to talk about this. No matter how curious he was, he had to deal with Osul, who was blocking the door first. Ying had no intention of intervening in Kong and Liu's affairs. After rescuing Kong, Ying turned around and flew down from the Jade Pavilion in full view of everyone, waving her sleeves without taking away a single cloud. Osul let out a long, high-pitched dragon roar, sending out harsh sound waves that were so sharp that it hurt the ears. Seemingly seeing the lonely Ying, one of the snake heads in Osul opened its mouth. The aqua-blue energy beam went straight in the direction of Ying's landing. Fluorescent. Sora was shocked when he saw this. However, Ying has flown too far, and even if he just wants to save people, there is nothing he can do. Cull. Ying sighed, "Do you really want to be caught?" A thin sword with golden lines appeared in Ying's hand. He waved casually at the oncoming beam of light. In an instant, Osul's attack was blown away. Next moment. Boom! Osul originally had 5 heads, but the head that attacked Ying exploded, including his body. Wu tilde. A whine came from the direction of Oxera. Ying did not continue to attack Osul, and the sword in her hand disappeared, falling towards the ground again. And this scene completely fell into the eyes of everyone in Quinyu Pavilion. That weapon, has she regained her strength? Kong murmured with a hint of trembling in his voice. Moreover, Sora had a vague feeling that Ying's current strength might be stronger than when he fought with that god. Can a casual blow be so powerful? A strange color flashed in the eyes of the great sage. When I went to rescue Kong just now, I felt the breath of the Traveler Sister at close range. He had only felt that suffocating feeling from the Emperor. Everyone had not had time to recover from Ying's terrifying power. However, Osul began to attack, and his head was directly wiped off, which made Osul completely angry. She couldn't find her lover, so she could only vent her anger on the eye-catching jade pavilion in the sky. Fellow immortals, now is not the time to think too much. Seeing Osul's rage, Ningguang spoke out to draw everyone's attention back. Ningguang continued to educate everyone, and the sky moved the jade pavilion. Having lost his head, Osul is weaker than in the original novel. After everyone made arrangements, the jade pavilion fell in response, with a terrifying loud noise accompanied by Osul's wail. On the sea, a giant mushroom cloud slowly rose. Oxera was sealed again. After the incident came to an end, everyone returned to Liuport. "Brother, thank you for your hard work," Ying said to Kong, who returned. "Now that we have met, there is no need to use the original plan to distract the other party." Ying's you. If you have anything to say, wait until you finish traveling to the 7 kingdoms. I will always watch you. Ying interrupted Kong. So goodbye. Behind Ying, an oval portal appeared. Wait, Ying. Sora stretched out his hand, trying to catch Ying, who was about to enter the portal. We will meet again eventually, but not now. Ying's figure disappeared, and the portal began to fade. Sora's outstretched hand passed directly through the teleporters and ran to the other side, but failed to enter the portal. Chapter 33, Universe and Universe. Ying, that's it for today's live broadcast. We'll see you next time. Next time I will go catch Osul. If anyone is interested, I will start the live broadcast again then. Ying skillfully uploads and lowers the broadcast. Bellies complained. Well, forget it. Wouldn't it be better if the group members had fun anyway? It's always more comfortable than calculating this, and that one by one. I remember that in some chat group novels, the group leader deceived the group members in a roundabout way, pretending to be a big-tailed wolf, cheating on food, drink, and skills. What's more, some even deceive people and claim to care about the physical and mental health of group members. Are you concerned about that? You are coveting her body, you are despicable. Bellies believes that she should be considered a breath of fresh air. At least, except for the plot of the group members, which I didn't tell everything else is true. He stood up and dusted himself off. Page 32. It's been okay for so many days. It seems like there won't be any accidents in hell. Time to collect Dragon Balls. The method of crossing the universe is not difficult for the god of destruction. Even Zamasu in the original work can run from the 10th universe to the 7th universe, let alone her now. The 6th universe. As soon as Bellies came in, she felt Ryuu's eyes. This is the information fed back by the chat group system. Angel or the god of destruction. Just when Bellies was thinking about it. A woman holding a scepter and wearing a gray ponytail left the world of the god of destruction. Hello, in which universe are you the god of destruction? According to regulations, the god of destruction cannot visit at will without an angel's advance reservation and permission. Please explain your purpose, otherwise I can only expel you. The female voice has a hint of tranquility, nobility, and the feeling of being bathed in the spring breeze. This is our first meeting. Hello, Miss Bardos. I am Bellies, the new god of destruction in the 10th universe. I want to collect wishing beads in the 6th and 7th universes to make wishes. This is the order of the great priest. Bellies did not salute to Bardos. The god of destruction and the angel have an equal relationship, and there is no corresponding etiquette. Okay. Bardos touched the token handed over by Bellies, looked at the word big for a while, and then nodded. It is indeed the token of the great priest. I understand your purpose. Bardot paused and said, I can tell you the location of the wishing beads in the 6th universe, but the 7th universe is not under my jurisdiction. If you want the wishing beads, you need to go through the angels of the 7th universe. The angel of the 7th universe is my brother. I will contact him later and explain to him in detail. Your Excellency Bellies, after arriving in the 7th universe, you can go directly to destroy the God realm. Thank you very much, Miss Bardos. Bellies took the token, returned by Bardos, and then started her journey of searching for the dragon beads according to the location indicated by Bardos. After some searching, in this way, we have collected all the wishing beads in the 6th universe. Looking at the 3 wishing beads in front of her that were a little larger than ordinary planets, and the star that was as big as the wishing beads, Bellies was quite emotional. Next, it's Universe 7. Bellies doesn't have a good sense of Beerus, the god of destruction of Universe 7, and the reason is very simple. She is the Scion princess of planet Vegeta. The destruction of planet Vegeta was what Beerus asked Frieza to do. Forget it, we'll talk about this later. Favors must be repaid, and hatred must be repaid. That's it. With 3 wishing beads, Bellies came to the 7th universe. Find a random place and put the Dragon Ball down. With 3 wishing beads as big as planets, even if they did nothing, few people would be able to take them away. But just in case, Bellies still added an illusion. According to the coordinates given by Bardos, find the location of the Destruction God realm in the 7th universe. Call out. Activate teleportation. Bellies appears in the God of Destruction. Hey, what a rare visitor. Weiss, the angel of the 7th universe, was waiting aside. After seeing Bellies, he slowly walked over. First meeting, Mr. Weiss, Bellies said. The new God of Destruction in Universe 10. I wonder who you are, Mr. Rumsey, Weiss said, and Bellies handed over the token. Regardless of anything else, the procedures for using wishing beads must be complete. He was my teacher, but he died due to an accident. Bellies spoke in a low voice. Well, that's really a pity. Weiss returned the token in his hand to Bellies. I've marked the location of the wishing bead on it. Weiss pointed to the special map in his hand. Thank you, Mr. Weiss. Bellies took the map sincerely. After chatting with Weiss for a while, Bellies left the God of Destruction on the pretext of collecting Dragon Balls. After Bellies left, Weiss narrowed his eyes. It's really strange. How come there are traces of the 7th universe on her body? Could it be that she was once a person from the 7th universe? Then Weiss shook his head. Never mind her. For a god of destruction, does it matter which universe he is from? After Bellies left the God of Destruction realm, she was not in a hurry to search for the wishing bead. Instead, she went in the direction of the wishing bead, sightseeing slowly like a tourist. Maybe he's looking for something. On a certain planet at night, a bald man and another young man with straight hair. The two sat in front of the fire and ate barbecue. The bald man spat and said to himself, Raditz is really useless, and he was killed by a guy with about 1,000 combat power. Don't say that about Nappa, didn't he bring us good news? Vegeta smiled coldly. Dragon Balls? Nappa also laughed, that's right. How could such a magical thing be in the hands of a weak earthling? Vegeta, do you plan to use the Dragon Balls to resurrect Raditz? Nappa asked curiously. How is it possible that such trash can be equipped with Dragon Balls? Vegeta put the barbecue to his mouth and took a hard bite. Nappa, how about being immortal and enjoying fighting forever? How about such a wish? I see, you really have some ideas, Your Highness. Vegeta and Nappa laughed heartily. And not far from the two of them, a pair of eyes were watching them. The combat power is only one, and he is not even qualified to activate that crystal. What has he done in these years? A trace of helplessness appeared on Bailey's face. Raditz is killed, and Vegeta and Nappa will come to Earth a year later. Well, wait. Something seems wrong. Age. When he first came to Earth, was Vegeta 25 or 26 years old? This is not scientific. Belly's discovered a problem that she had ignored. Damn it, she is only 20. Why is Vegeta so much older than her? As far as he knows, all kings are connected to the universe, and the time of all universes is unified. According to this theory, Vegeta's correct age should be in his teens. So what went wrong? The words that the great priest said when he came to destroy the world of gods suddenly appeared in Bailey's mind. Wrong time. The meaning of these words is problematic. As the steward of the entire universe, a great priest who is less than one person and more than 10,000 people, can he remember the time of the entire universe wrongly? No, I have to confirm. Belly's decided that after making her wish to the Dragon of God, she would go to the 6th universe to confirm the time of the 6th universe with Bados. If the time in both universes is correct, then there is a problem with the time flow rate in her 10th universe. Thinking of this, he had no interest in observing Vegeta and Nappa anymore, so he left with teleportation and began to collect the wishing beads at an accelerated pace according to the location of the wishing beads given by Weiss. Chapter 30, 4 The Dragon Balls are gathered, and the Dragon of God appears. Stack the 3 Dragon Balls found in the 6th universe and the 4 Dragon Balls found in the 7th universe together. In an instant, 7 Dragon Balls, the size of planets, began to flash and resonate slightly. Come out, Dragon of Gods. Belly's calls in the word of God. Almost as soon as her voice fell, 7 Dragon Balls burst out with intense light. The divine dragon that covered the sky, and the sun opened its bloody mouth and swallowed Belly's into its belly. When Belly's came back to her senses, there was a golden dragon in front of her eyes. The giant dragons meandered and intertwined together. Their scales were lifelike, and their pupils shone with emerald green. Tell me your wish, my destined person. No matter what wish you have, I can help you realize it. Everything was shrouded in golden light, and the surroundings were filled with terrifying rules, and the transmission point of the rules was this golden dragon that was unknown how many kilometers away. Belly's took a deep breath and said, Dragon of God, please help me perfectly resurrect Rumsey, the former god of destruction of Universe 10, and if possible, also resurrect Gervas, the former Kiowan god of Universe 10. Belly's purpose is to resurrect her teacher, the former god of destruction of Universe 10. However, the lives of the god of destruction and Kaioshin are connected. Who knows if they will be resurrected, and Rumsey will die suddenly because Kaioshin is gone, so he deliberately added a perfection. Page 33. As for Gervais, it was Belly's selfish desire to see if she could get a bug in Super Dragon Ball. 1 second, 2 seconds, half a minute passed. The emerald green luster of Shenlong's eyes gradually dimmed, but he never spoke. What, can't you do it? Belly's asked tentatively. Yes, it can't be done. Whether it's Rumsey, the god of destruction, or Gervas, the Kaio god, their deaths are not allowed to be resurrected. Belly's frowned. Shenlong, what do you mean, resurrection is not allowed? Is this your wish to know the reason why you cannot be resurrected? No, Belly's resisted the idea of beating Shenlong violently. Forget it if you can't be resurrected. If you ask for a reason, you also need to count the wish. Are you a dragon who is too cunning? Shouldn't you be the one to explain the reason why you can't make a wish? Shenlong saw what Bailey's was thinking and seemed to not intend to trick anyone again. He said, This is the universe under the Quanwang system, the rules that existed from the very beginning. Gods killed by gods are not allowed to be resurrected. This is Lion Long. Things that no one else in the world can interfere with. the former god of destruction Rumsey and the former Kaioshin Jervas were connected in life. Kaioshin Curvas was killed by Kaiwan Zamasu. This was a conflict between gods. It was equivalent to killing Zamasu at the same time. Kavas and Rumsey. Do you understand what I said? Bellies was silent. Okay, my dear friend, what else do you wish for? Can I ask you another question? Bellies continued to test. Can. For some reason, Bellies felt that Shenlong's reaction seemed to be much faster, unlike the mechanical state before. The universe was wiped out by King Quan. Can it be restored? In the original work, except for the 7th universe, all other universes were restored by the super dragon. This kind of thing always seems incredible. Because Bellies once asked the angel Kessie about the super dragon, and Kessie told her that she could not transcend the level of the god of destruction. In other words, the super dragon made a wish to be at the level of the god of destruction. It's not that it can be done, it's that it can't be done. Then there is a contradiction. If the whole king wipes out the universe, how does the super dragon recover? No. Hearing Bailey's question, Shenlong sounded a little sure. Dragon Realm cannot interfere with the entire universe, unless King Quan states in advance that Dragon Realm is allowed to interfere. But even so, if the universe is completely wiped out by King Quan, it will be almost impossible to restore it. Unless King Quan had no intention of completely erasing the universe from the beginning, leaving a certain backdoor, and this backdoor is also King Quan's permission to restore. In this way, only the Super Dragon Balls can be used to completely restore the universe. I see. Bellies frowned slightly after hearing Shenlong's explanation. In other words, in the original work, Shenlong restored the universe with the permission of the Omniking, and the Omniking also left a backdoor for the Super Dragon Balls when he erased the universe. Or more likely, the Omniking had an agreement with the person behind Super Shenlong. Of course, what it is specifically is not important to Bellies. So if I want to resurrect Rumsey, the god of destruction from Universe 10, what should I do? This is not a question that I can answer, or in other words, you have the answer in your own mind. Shenlong looked at Bellies for a long time and said slowly, Bailey's, the current god of destruction in Universe 10 under the Quanwang system. If you have other wishes, then we will see you next time. Wait, was that not a wish just now? Bellies was a little anxious. Silent, Shenlong paused for a while. It doesn't matter, then if you have any other wishes, you can only make one. I can help you realize any wish. Hearing these words again, the corners of Bailey's mouth twitched slightly. Don't you feel your face hurts if you dare to say this? Of course, Bellies didn't dare to say anything about Shenlong. After all, Super Dragon Ball wishes are still very precious, and should be cherished and not wasted. Wait, Bellies thought of something. Did the Great Priest know before that the Super Dragon cannot resurrect Mr. Rumsey? Then why give her Super Dragon Ball? Are you optimistic about me and investing in advance? No, it's impossible. This must be an illusion. Just like the 3 major illusions in life, she likes me, I can fight back and the phone vibrates. No matter what the Great Priest has in mind, the wish for the Super Dragon Ball cannot be wasted, otherwise wouldn't it be a waste of work? Wishes, what wishes are good? Her first wish must be to resurrect her teacher. But now, resurrection is not possible, and making other wishes is uncertain for a while. After turning yourself into a super sailor, can you still control the destructive power in your body? No. Bellies shook her head and refused. The wish was too simple and unpretentious. As long as she takes the time and has a chat group, Bellies is confident that she can do this. There is no need to use Super Dragon Balls. Resurrect King Yama, or the souls devoured by hell. King Yama is a god with a divine status, and it is unlikely that he will be resurrected even if he is killed by Zamasu. After all, Super Dragon said just now that a god killed by a god cannot be resurrected. As for the souls in hell, what can I say? Although there was a little bit of heavenly soul in it, she felt that using the Super Dragon Balls to do such small things was not worth the gain. And most importantly, through chat groups, Bellies felt other eyes on her. There is a high probability that he is either the king or the Great Priest. Don't waste the Super Dragon's wish. the great priest said before leaving. Bellies couldn't tell whether there was any deep meaning. Even though he knew that the super Dragon Balls could not resurrect Rumsey, he still gave her the convenience of collecting Dragon Balls. No matter how I thought about it, I felt that his words before leaving had some meaning. Don't waste wishes. What exactly is it? Can I still make a wish like a super dragon and get 2 more wishes? Amount. She was afraid that if she said this, the super dragon would come over and beat her with Dragon God Salama on its back. Not even a single wish can be satisfied, but you still want to be greedy. Have you ever seen someone who was so shameless that he asked for 2 more wishes? Isn't this pure provocation? Wait a minute, want 2 more wishes? Could it be that the great priest meant? Chapter 35 Wishes and the Meeting of the Whole Palace. Dragon of God, I have chosen my wish. Bellies gritted her teeth and made a decision. I just don't know if the Dragon God Salama will give it, or if the High Priest of the King will stop it. In other words, this is what the great priest said: don't waste your wishes. Bellies took a deep breath. Is it okay to wish me to have the ability to make Dragon Balls? Silence, silence. The words slowly fell, and the entire body of the divine dragon became quiet. The surroundings became silent. After an unknown amount of time, the voice of the Dragon of God broke the silence. Okay, this wish is very simple. The super dragon's eyes, green pupils, emit a burning white light. The light slowly fell on Bellies' body. The process lasted nearly 10 minutes. Bellies felt that in addition to the power of destruction and creation, her body had a special rule. Your wish has been fulfilled. Your ability to create dragon beads will increase with your own understanding of the power of dragons. The super dragon's voice paused here. I'll give you a piece of advice. The power of the dragon given to you does not represent the power of the dragon god. All the cause and effect of your wish are your own responsibility. Can you elaborate? Bellies, who had just gained the power of the dragon, was a little confused. The Dragon Ball you made is different from the Dragon Ball of Namek. Super Shenlong said, the negative energy generated by the Dragon Ball of Namek every time you make a wish will be cleared by the rules of Dragon God Salama. The dragon power given to you belongs to you. All negative consequences after making a wish with the Dragon Ball will be borne by you, the maker. Of course, you are not under the jurisdiction of the Dragon Realm. If one day your understanding of the power of dragon reaches the level of Dragon God, you will become another Dragon God. I've made it clear enough. Do you have anything else to ask? Super Dragon said slowly. Thank you, I will make good use of this power. Bellies bowed to the Dragon of God. Now, Bellies was not sure whether the super divine dragon she was talking to was the divine dragon itself or the one who created the divine dragon, Salama, so she had to be respectful, not to mention that she got the benefits for free. Goodbye then, the new god of destruction. Dragon Realm looks forward to your future. Golden light glowed from the entire body of the divine dragon. As the divine dragon disappeared, the 7 Dragon Balls flew to all directions in the universe with a whoosh sound. Page 34. After the wish was made, the universe gradually became quiet. Cull. Bellies let out a long sigh of relief. The surveillance gaze is gone. Does it mean that her wish is in line with the expectations of the great priest or the king? At least, it's not a waste of Super Shenron's wish. Really, these gods and so on, each one has 180 eyes. Gods killed by gods cannot be resurrected. In other words, if you want to resurrect Mr. Rumsey, you will probably need the king's approval. It seems we need to improve our strength as soon as possible. The god of destruction, for the king, can be discarded at will. If you want to get some say, you probably have to reach the level of an angel. Hey, hopefully it won't be too long. Extra rules for the body. Dragon power, something like special cause and effect. Dragon balls produce negative energy. Aren't they similar to GT's evil dragon worldview? Because of Samara's rules, the Namekians don't worry about negative energy when making Dragon Balls, but they also know that things like Dragon Balls cannot be abused casually. The god of destruction in Universe 10. Sure enough, the time flow rate of the 10th universe is much slower than that of other universes. After returning from a trip to the 6th universe, Bellies was finally sure that there was something wrong with the flow of time in the universe she managed. Although this trend is slowly recovering, Bellies still can't find the answer to the reason why the flow of time has slowed down. It can only be roughly estimated that in half a year at most, the time flow rate of the 10th universe will return to a level similar to that of other universes. Forget it, if you can't find the reason, I won't look for it. It's not a big deal anyway. Bellies shrugged. She is more worried about another thing now than the speed of time, making Dragon Balls and the like. Go to King Quan's palace and pay a visit to King Quan. It's not like Sun Wukong, who can talk to King Quan without any obstacles or timidity. To put it nicely, it is called heartless. To put it worse, it means that the brain is more or less seriously ill. Bellies grabbed her white hair and laid herself down on the ground. I don't want to go. I really don't want to go to the king's palace. What if I go and get arrested and imprisoned? What if King Quan and the high priest have any special hobbies? For example, if you accidentally turn into a velvet ball or something. Oh, it's scary just thinking about it. That's Quan Wang, but not Quan Dan as some netizens say, the supreme god who rules 18, oh no, 12 universes. Tumbled deathly on the lawn for half an hour. Beerus stood up reluctantly and used her power of destruction to clean up the weeds and dust stuck to the god of destruction's costume. Even if I have procrastination, I still have to go to the king's palace to receive the certificate of appointment from the god of destruction. Bellies patted her face with both hands and murmured, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. I haven't seen any big winds or waves even in the god of destruction. Isn't it where King Quan lives? Can you still eat me? Take a deep breath to calm your complicated mind. Using teleportation, Bellies disappeared into the god of destruction. Almost in the blink of an eye, she appeared at the gate of the king's palace. The place where King Quan lives, as the name suggests. The door of the entire house is marked with a big word Chinese letter. It doesn't look very majestic, more like a cartoon. Not long after Bellies blocked the door, a man also appeared outside the door using teleportation. I've met the great priest. It's not a formal occasion, there's no need to be so solemn. The high priest waved his hand and motioned for Bellies to stand up. Yes. Under the leadership of the high priest, Bellies passed through the palace gate, crossed a route similar to a star map of the universe, and soon saw the king with a head like a tricolor flag. He was standing there, leaning on his back with his hands, waiting for Bellies to arrive. I have met Mr. Quan Wang. Bellies bowed slightly. Bellies, a disciple of Rumsey, the original god of destruction in Universe 10, and now the god of destruction in Universe 10. Quan Wang said in a clear voice. Although there was no bad tone, Bellies felt a bit creepy when she heard it. Compared to the gods of destruction in other universes, you do a very good job. King Quan's tone remained calm. This is what I should do. Not knowing what Quan Wang wanted to say, Bellies still flattered him from the bottom of her heart. The great priest and I have seen that you got the power of the dragon from Salama, right? Yes, Bellies has nothing to hide about making a wish. Anyway, you said you knew it. Don't abuse it. If the universe is out of balance with that kind of power, it will become very serious. Yes, please keep this in mind. Well, High Priest, bring that. King Quan turned his eyes to the High Priest beside him. The High Priest nodded, walked to Bellies, and handed a white note to her. This is the object that awakens the angel, because the angel is bound to the world of the god of destruction. If the candidate for the god of destruction does not get this piece of paper, the angel will not wake up. After handing the note to Bellies, King Quan walked down from the throne and chatted with Bellies for a while. Anyway, they just talked about some weird or interesting things, and then let Bellies go back. And all of this makes Bellies feel a little unreal. What does Quan Wang mean? Ask what fun and delicious things are there in Universe 10. Ask her to bring some over next time. Shouldn't we ask something else? So you went there to get the appointment letter, and then came back. She has so many solutions in her mind. Aren't they all in vain? Of course, Bellies is not seriously ill. King Quan has released her, so it is impossible for her to go back and fight with him. Why don't you ask me something useful and just let me back? How much time do you have to spend preparing multiple strategies to deal with the problem? Saying this, I'm afraid he will be wiped out by Quan Wang in the next second. After Bailey's left, the high priest stood behind King Quan, waiting for King Quan to speak. Now that child is very interesting. She obviously wants to resurrect her teacher, but she resists saying it. Is she afraid of me? King Quan said to himself, when I shook hands with her just now, the power in her body was also very strong. Interesting. Destruction, creation, and the power of the dragon actually achieve a delicate balance. Do you want to prepare anything? The high priest looked serious. You don't have to do anything, great priest. Since the 10th universe is out of my control, just give it to her. I'm not as stingy as Salama. I have to understand the power of the dragon myself. If you say that, that person will come over and block the door if he hears it. What does it matter? Just think of it as compensation for preventing parallel worlds from appearing in this world 20 years ago. Did you discover anything? The high priest asked. It's a terrifying power. Even I can't measure the great power hidden in the soul. Even if it comes even slightly close, there will be unparalleled danger. As he said this, King Quan changed his tone. But I don't feel any malice at all. Besides, that kid's character is very interesting. Wouldn't it be nice to make friends with him? King Quan said with a smile, even a stingy person like Salama is willing to give out the origin of the dragon's power. It's just a universe, just let her play with it. Chapter 36-2 Newcomers. The 10th universe, destroying the divine world. After returning from the king's palace, Bailey still felt like she was in another world. Yes, not true. King Quan and the high priest actually didn't ask any more questions. Just before leaving, King Quan said, "The 10th universe will be left to you from now on." Does this have any special meaning? All riddlers. Hey, Belly sighed. Page 35. He took out the white note with runes that the great priest handed to him. Then the note fell to the ground. The entire god of destruction world emitted bursts of white light. Tens of seconds later, white light gathered together. The outline of the girl displayed gradually became clearer. It was a girl with long gray-white hair tied into braids. In the girl's right hand, she holds a scepter with a spherical gem inlaid on the top. Welcome back, Kessie. After hearing the familiar voice, the girl slowly opened her eyes, her blue face showing a hint of sleepiness. Is it the new god of destruction? This voice, Little Bellies. It's me, Teacher Kessie. Bellies stood in front of Koshi, looking at Koshi Angel, whom she had not seen for 5 years as both her teacher and sister. Really, you have already been to the king's palace. Kessie sensed the condition of her body with a hint of disbelief in her tone. I just came back from there, Kessie. I helped Teacher Rumsey take revenge. Bellies explained, it's just that the plan to resurrect the teacher did not succeed. Lord Rumsey. Kessie's consciousness is still a little hazy. After all, she just woke up. A god killed by a god cannot be resurrected. I heard Super Shenron say it, I'm sorry. Bellies sighed. Super Dragon, is it the dragon of gods? As time passed, Kessie's consciousness completely recovered. At this time, when she heard Bellies talking about the super dragon, she couldn't help but think of the wishing beads created by the dragon god Salama. That's right, the great priest made it easier for me. Bellies told Kessie about what happened in the recent period, as well as the time flow rate in the 10th universe. Of course, she didn't say anything about the chat group. After listening to Bailey's narration, Kessie frowned slightly. The angel's sensory energy is much stronger than that of the ordinary god of destruction. Even if Bellies doesn't borrow the chat group, she probably can't compare. After a while, how come? A look of disbelief appeared on Kessie's young girl's face. Did something happen? Bellies' heart skipped a beat, thinking that Kessie had found some terrible disaster or something. This, a 10th universe. Kessie was silent for a long time, and she did not immediately answer Bellies' question. Instead, he senses his own physical condition. The mark of the link disappears. How is this possible? Cox murmured in a low voice. Teacher Kessie, what's wrong? Bellies asked anxiously. The law binding me to the god of destruction has disappeared. The angel is bound to the god of destruction. This binding will be bound to the god of destruction world after the death of the god of destruction, waiting for the next god of destruction to succeed. This is a law that has existed since the creation of the entire universe. Angels are bound to the god of destruction and cannot participate in what happens there. Even the king and the great priest cannot change it. There is only one way to undo this binding. That is, the god of destruction will make a great contribution to the entire universe, so that angels will no longer be bound by laws. In addition, Kessie also discovered a problem. The 10th universe is already faintly separated from the entire universe. Although it is currently far inferior to the entire universe, it is no longer under the jurisdiction of the entire king. Lord Bellies, can I ask you something? Kessie unconsciously added the honorific when speaking. Bellies, who has always regarded Kessie as her teacher, is a little confused. What happened? I am completely disconnected from the laws of the 10th universe, and the 10th universe is no longer under the jurisdiction of the universal universe. Do you know this? What? Bellies looked confused. What's going on? Meow, meow, meow. Kessie explained the detected information to Bellies. During this period, nearly half an hour passed. I said I didn't know the reason. Do you believe it? Bellies was a little confused. Could it be that the chat group was doing something wrong? I believe Lord Bellies, Kessie said seriously, but on her face, Bellies really couldn't tell whether she believed it or not. After figuring out the situation a little bit, Bellies said, the connection with the god of destruction has disappeared. Kessie, are you going to return to the universe next? Hearing this, Kessie shook her head. Unless Lord Bellies doesn't want me anymore. Although she is the oldest among the dozen angels and has the most experience, she is not the strongest among all the angels because she is not good at fighting or does not like fighting. Kessie, according to what you said, if I can reach the level of a king or a great priest, I can resurrect Rumsey, right? Kessie nodded. Theoretically speaking, you have the power of destruction, creation, and dragon. As long as you are strong enough, it is not impossible to resurrect the gods who died in this universe. What's more, the most important point is that, although the 10th universe is still nominally connected to the entire universe, it is actually a country that belongs to the entire universe. Don't worry, Kessie, I will definitely resurrect the teacher, Bellies said seriously. Thank you, Kessie was touched. Bellies took a step forward and stretched out her hand. Miss Kessie, please give me your advice in the future. Kessie also stretched out her other hand that was not holding the scepter, held Bellies' hand, smiled slightly and said, Please give me some advice, Lord Bellies, the god of destruction. After reminiscing about these years, Bellies began to talk about the main topic, such as the production of Dragon Ball. Angel Kessie is well informed, and under her guidance, Bellies quickly created the Dragon Ball. It's done. Clapping her hands, Bellies looked at the Dragon Balls on the ground with satisfaction. Each Dragon Ball is about the size of a palm and has a star sequence that is different from other Dragon Balls, ranging from 1 planet to 7 planets. Ding, the chat group has been upgraded to level 2, point sign-in is enabled, and the item consignment platform with multiple usage times is enabled. Bellies. She can understand the point sign-in, but what does it mean to be an item consignment platform with multiple uses? Before Bellies could finish being surprised, the voice sounded again. Ding, Captain of the 5th Division, join the chat group. Ding, the Millennium Great Onmyoji, join the chat group. Bellies. What the hell, there's a new guy. Captain of the 5th Division, isn't this the hairspray hand? The 1,000-year-old Onmyoji. I don't know who he is. Bellies slowly opened the chat group and quietly went online. In the world of death, Captain of the 5th Division, Kyusuk Aizen. The world of the Shaman King, the great Onmyoji Asakura Yi King. Seeing the introduction of these two people, Bellies felt her head hurt. They are all big bosses, and they are even harder to deal with than a tough guy like Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara. Such an arrogant guy, a matryoshka boss who will sew people's hearts open as soon as he defeats him once. In terms of villain level, he is completely inferior to the two new members of the group. Bellies continued to dive without saying a word. With a good employee like Uchiha Madara, there is no need for the boss to personally take action. Well, I seem to be just watching the fun and don't mind it. Chapter 30, 7 Aizen Sasuke, a Sakura Yi-King. Ding, Madara Uchiha entered the arena. Ding, the Millennium Great Onmyoji enters the arena. Bellies, who was reading the chat group information, looked confused. What's the conflict between the two of them? She had just gone online and glanced at the newcomer's information, but she didn't have time to see the public screen. Uchiha Madara, the administrator, and a Sakura Yi-O, the newcomer, actually got into a fight. Uchiha Madara clasped his hands on his chest and stood in the arena, with a young body and young strength. At this time, Uchiha Madara did not reveal the essence of the four laughing heroes. He looked calmly at the boy opposite. "Kid, tell me what you just said. I don't care if you insult me, but you shouldn't insult the group leader." Bellies ate the melon silently, but in the end, the melon actually came to find her. Page 36. King Makeng insulted himself. What did he insult? I quickly looked at it on the public screen. As a result, you can see. Too small, just an ant. Wait, it sounds arrogant, but it's not insulting at all. It's just that he said some uncomfortable things. I'm a little touched. Uchiha Madara actually fought with others for her. However, I always feel something is strange. Belly set her sights on the arena live broadcast. King Makeng said with a smile on his face, "I am not insulting, I am just telling the truth. Since it is a chat group that spans countless worlds, the group leader must be strong. I think I am strong enough to be the leader of this group." King Makeng, the great Onmyoji 1,000 years ago, a powerful man who solved the mystery of life and death. He believes that no one is more suitable to be the leader of this group than him. How arrogant, just because you have an extra 1,000 years of title. If you want to be the leader of the group, beat me, Madara Uchiha, let's talk about it. By the way, I am the administrator appointed by the group leader, and of course I am very powerful, Uchiha said confidently. After the last battle with the group leader, Uchiha Madara went through many mental simulations, and he believed that he was definitely stronger than last time. Something's wrong. Bellies frowned. Uchiha Madara should not be provoked so easily. The world's #1 princess. At everyone, is anyone here? What's going on with Uchiha Madara and this newcomer? After all, there was a lot of information on the public screen, but Bellies didn't read it all and only read the last few. Ying, at Chinese letter, NUMBERONEPRINCESS. I don't know the specifics, but Uchiha Madara's character doesn't seem to end immediately if he is slightly provoked. To be honest, Yingya is weird. The newcomer, the Millennium Great Onmyoji, said something almost arrogant when he joined the group, but he didn't say much after that. Moreover, she vaguely felt that it was Madara Uchiha who seduced him and provoked him. The purpose is unknown. The world's #1 princess. Did you do this on purpose? Ying, I didn't say that. The world's #1 princess. Ying also learned to quibble. Bellies thought for a while but couldn't get an answer, so she couldn't help but turn her attention to the live broadcast. Uchiha Madara stared at the opposite side and said in a cold voice, "Use your strength, a Sakura Leaf King, where is your fire spirit?" Ma Kangyuang smiled solemnly. Can the administrator see the information of group members? No wonder I feel something is wrong. You don't have to worry about losing accidentally and humiliating your respected group leader. King Asakura, you didn't know Uchiha Madara's strength. However, he is the strongest Onmyoji in thousands of years, and does not think he will lose. Since you won't attack, let me do it. Uchiha Madara formed a seal with his hands. Fire escape, the good stuff is destroyed. The huge sea of fire rolled forward, and advanced to the surroundings of a Sakura, Yi King in the blink of an eye. King Ma Kangai smiled faintly. A huge soul body appeared, dark red in color, with extremely oppressive power. I saw that the fire spirit stretched out its hand towards the entire sea of fire. The palm of his hand was like a whirlpool, beginning to absorb the spreading sea of fire. In less than a moment, the endless sea of flames was absorbed by the fire spirit. The body of the fire spirit also became larger than before. Sure enough, the sole body of the power of nature. Uchiha Madara noticed a Sakura Leaf King standing on Huoling's shoulder. After this incident, I'm afraid I have to apologize to the group owner. Uchiha Madara retracted his thoughts, and his dark eyes quickly changed, turning into a kaleidoscope that transcended eternity and directly turned into a samsara eye. Oh. Seeing the change in Uchiha Madara's eyes, a Sakura-yi had a look of surprise on his face. It's very strong, it's not just talk. Feeling the majestic pressure coming from Uchiha Madara, this was the first pressure he had felt in thousands of years. Those eyes can communicate between life and death. As a great onmyoji who transcends life and death, he soon noticed the strangeness in Uchiha Madara's eyes. Interesting. In battle, of course you have to be evenly matched, but I don't know if you have such ability. Ma Kengyuang shouted sharply, Huoling, let's go. A witch power value of 120 million almost means that he is already at the top of the world. Unexpectedly, a strange chat group he accidentally entered today had an opponent who made him want to fight. The fire spirit decomposed in the blink of an eye, and the next moment, it reorganized behind Uchiha Madara. King Makeng stood on Huoling's shoulder and said, I will accept your soul. The fire spirit stretched out his hand to grab Uchiha Madara. The prison on the edge of the wheel tomb. Uchiha whispered. The moment the fire spirit was about to catch Uchiha Madara. Boom! Huoling was hit hard, and the Asakura Yi King who was standing on Huoling flew out together. What's going on? Asakura Yi King controlled the fire spirit to stop retreating, and his eyes became sharp. Glancing at Huoling's chest on the right side, there were some broken lines. Invisible attack. Can be sensed but cannot be seen. In other words, they are not in the same space. Asakura Yi stretched out 2 fingers and lightly touched his eyes, and then a strange luster appeared in his eyes. Saw. The 2 clone-like things looked exactly like Uchiha Madara and looked almost like shadows. Is this the thing that kicked the fire spirit? To be honest, it was just a preliminary test. He was quite surprised to be able to defeat the fire spirit easily. Uchiha Madara did not continue to attack, and analyzed the structure of the fire spirit through the touch of the prison on the edge of the tomb. Soul, the power of nature. It seems understandable, but it's difficult to do. Uchiha muttered. In the chat group, Bellies paid attention to the fight between Uchiha Madara and Asakura Yi. I see. No wonder Uchiha Madara wants to fight Asakura Leaf King because of the fire spirit. Uchiha Madara is so eager for strength. Because I saw the fight between Ying and Osel before. Bellies didn't know whether it was true or not, but she could roughly guess Uchiha Madara's purpose. The fire spirit is a natural product. In other words, it is constructed by the power of nature. Uchiha Madara's purpose is to learn celestial magic and understand the power of nature. Playing with the snow-white hair on her forehead, Bellies murmured softly. As expected, most of the people who can be villains have goals and dreams, and they keep fighting for it. Then, his eyes fell on the position of King Ma Kengyi. What is the reason for the provocation by Asakura Yuang? She didn't believe that the great onmyoji was reincarnated and lived for thousands of years, and became the future shaman king. There is no sense of government at all. After entering the chat group, he acted like a fool and kept provoking. So he also has his own plans. Page 37, it's difficult. In particular, Bellies was more troubled than Asakura Yi King and Uchiha Madara. In the world of death, Kyusuk Aizen. Yes, that's the hairspray guy. The world of death, the 5th Division team building. In front of the desk, Aizen Sasuke silently practiced calligraphy. But the lenses of his eyes reflected light slightly, and there was a playful smile on his face. Other worlds, administrators, group leaders, my horizons have broadened and my zenith has become higher. Aizen Sasuke put down the brush in his hand, thinking about something, and said quietly, Rukia Kuchiki has gone to the human world, and the plan can almost begin. Ikigo, don't let me down. Chapter 38, Fierce Battle. In the chat group, the battle in the arena is still going on. Being kicked away by Uchiha Madara's shadow, a Sakura Leaf King didn't really care. In fighting, it was normal to get injured a little, not to mention that the Huo Ling who was injured was not him. As the flames repaired, the slightly hideous wound on Huo Ling's chest also healed quickly. Uchiha Madara, you are very good. On Huo Ling's shoulder, a Sakura Yuan condescended and gave Uchiha Madara a yes. Humph, you are really arrogant. Uchiha Madara was so angry that, when he saw a Sakura Yi King in front of him, Uchiha Madara thought of his former self. However, as his horizons improved, he no longer viewed other people from this perspective. Uchiha Madara manipulated the two shadows he created and slowly moved towards a Sakura Yi King. You can only do a sneak attack once. Do you think I won't be prepared for the same move? Seeing Uchiha Madara's shadow approaching quietly, the fire spirit waved its slender arms, whipping up a monstrous storm. The 100-meter high flame tornado struck at the two ambushed prison guards. However, the giant tornado set off by the fire spirit passed directly through Uchiha Madara's shadow in an instant. What? King Ma Kangyu was shocked when he saw this. At this time, Uchiha Madara's shadow jumped up at the same time, speeding up and rushing towards the fire spirit. Almost in the blink of an eye, one after another appeared surrounded by fire spirits. Attacking from both sides, you're looking down on me too much. Huo Lingli's huge palm condensed a ball of flame. SHHHHH. The fireball crackled and then released dense flying arrows of flames. Fire arrows fell on the edge of the wheel tomb. The two prison shadows on the edge of the wheel tomb that had not yet come to attack were burned to ashes by the flames in a few seconds. The flame and fire spirit's hand disappeared. A Sakura Yuan glanced at Uchiha Madara in the distance. Is this the confidence of your administrator? I can understand how to deal with the mere shadow of virtual and real transformation after just one look. Too small. Hearing a Sakura Yi King's ridicule, Uchiha Madara was not angry and patted the dust on his shoulders with his hand. The prison on the edge of the wheel tomb disappeared, and he had obtained the data he wanted. Uchiha Madara chuckled softly. Hashirama, I will be ahead of you soon. Maybe I can reach the 6th path level without the 10 tails. No, with the chat group here, I am confident that I will reach 6 paths. Seeing Uchiha Madara actually showing a disdainful smile, a Sakura Yuan raised his eyebrows slightly. The bodies of Huo Ling and Makang Yi King decomposed again. Just like before, Uchiha Madara felt murderous intent coming from behind. Is this the law? No, not yet. The previous battle between Ying and Osul, and then seeing the current Asakura Leaf King. Rather than talking about the law, it is better to say that it is a technique that can steal the law. The great Onmyoji, who has survived for thousands of years, is indeed not simple. Before fighting a Sakura Leaf King, Uchiha Madara checked the information of a Sakura Leaf King through the permissions of the chat group. Although he didn't get much, Uchiha Madara decided to lure the other party to challenge him. It's not my style to be attacked and not fight back. Blue chakra emerged from the whole body. A huge shadow was reflected on the ground. Its fiery red arms and ferocious claws suddenly grabbed Uchiha. Zizi. Suddenly, a blue arm grabbed Huo Ling's arm. Okay. King Ma Kangyu was slightly stunned. What is this? At this time, Uchiha was wrapped in blue solidified chakra, and Suzanu's skeleton palm could catch the fire spirit stabbing him. Eyes. The power frequency emitted by those double-circled eyes seems to have some connection with this skeleton energy body. Interesting. A Sakura Leaf King controlled the fire spirit, and the fire spirit raised his right foot and kicked Uchiha Madara and Sanohu. Give him his own way in return. Two energies clash. The fire spirit and the blue Susanoo trembled slightly. The terrifying energy, centered on them, spread to the surrounding area for thousands of meters. The originally solid surface also became a mess during this collision, with broken rocks and broken walls everywhere. Susanoo, I can't hold it anymore. Uchiha Madara frowned. The fire spirit's kick caused Susanoo's ribs to break again. If he hadn't sensed the abnormality and increased the output of his mental power and chakra, I'm afraid the ray kick just now would have crushed Susanna to pieces. The power of nature is truly terrifying. No, rather than talking about the power of nature, it is better to say that the fire spirit in front of him possesses incomparable strength. It would be nice if there was Kyuubi. Uchiha Madara thought of the tailed beast that Hashirama thought was too powerful and needed to be sealed. It seems that this strange skeleton is not very good. The slightly contemptuous voice of King Makangai came from the distance. At the same time, the fire spirit raised the other arm that was not caught and grabbed it fiercely in the direction of Uchiha Madara, who was protected by Susanoo. The 5 slender fingers of the fire spirit exuded a fierce light. It is one of its skills, Flame Gun. The claws, with strong natural force, seemed to be able to tear everything into pieces. Asakura Leaf King was confident that with this move, he could easily crush Susanoo, who was about the same size as the fire spirit, and even hurt Uchiha Madara inside. Boom! Susanoo only held on to the flames wrapped around the claws of the fire spirit for a few seconds, and then they quickly exploded. With Susanoo's rupture, Uchiha Madara's defense collapsed completely. Uchiha Madara, right? Thank you for your pleasure. I will accept your soul. Uchiha Madara slowly raised his right hand. No dodge at all. Samsara I absorption. The fire spirit has not yet touched Uchiha Madara, and is still half a meter away from Uchiha Madara, blocked by an invisible wall of light. Especially the left hand that stabbed Uchiha Madara. The flames on the fingers disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. What happened? King Ma Kangyi was a little surprised for a moment. Page 38. The witchcraft power of the fire spirit was quickly eliminated. Eyes, those eyes. It turns out that those eyes possess the power of yin-yang and 5 elements. It's really hard to deal with. Asakura Leaf King used his skills in battle for the first time. He placed 2 fingers in the middle of his eyes and then made a few strokes in the air. The transformation of the 5 elements solidified gold. After King Makangi finished speaking, the fire spirit under his feet changed in stages. The original fire attribute was covered up by gold. The free energy in his body also quickly condensed and became indestructible. What? Uchiha Madara's expression changed when he saw this. He can no longer absorb the energy of the fire spirit. This feeling is like when he was fighting Senju Hashirama. He used fire release to burn Senju Hashirama's wood release. But in the end, the wood release's powerful vitality forcibly extinguished the fire release. At this time, Uchiha Madara also discovered the fire spirit after turning into gold. Attack strength is significantly increased. Just relying on the invalidation of the animal path of the reincarnation eye is actually unstoppable. Uchiha Madara no longer absorbed the fire spirit and released a burst of repulsive force from his palms. Shenra Tianzhang. After canceling the neutralization of the animal path, Uchiha used the Shinra Tensei to fly away the fire spirit and Asakura Leaf King. Bang! The powerful repulsive force of Shinra Tianzhang hit the fire spirit, but it was like hitting a thick heavy metal, just slightly blocking the opponent's movements. Huo Ling blocked the repulsive force towards Asakura Leaf King with one hand, while the other hand still kept thrusting to attack Uchiha. No, even Shinra Tianzhang. A few drops of cold sweat broke out on Uchiha Madara's forehead. Apart from the battle with the group leader, this was the second time that the Shinra Celestial Conquest was breached. Never mind. I am pretty good at practicing immortal arts, so there is no need to be too demanding. Uchiha Madara suddenly put down his right hand. The repulsive force, arising from Uchiha Madara's original heart, also disappeared in an instant. Oh, are you giving up? Seeing Uchiha Madara's behavior, a trace of confusion appeared on Asakura Yueng's face. Even if he couldn't read minds, he could clearly deduce that Uchiha Madara still had fighting ability. From the battle just now, it can be seen that Uchiha Madara is a very proud person. Would such a person give up casually? Just when Asakura Leaf King asked the fire spirit, to take away Uchiha Madara's soul. A voice came, instantly making King Ma Kangyi's hair stand on end. Continuously retreating in order to learn certain abilities is not the behavior Uchiha Madara should have. Next comes the real battle, with my complete Susanoo. A terrifying energy rose from the ground. The unbelievably powerful pressure instantly pressed against King Ma Kangyi. Chapter 39 Dragon Ball. Complete Susanoo. King Ma Kangyi on the fire spirit suddenly felt heavy. That energy can actually induce the density of space, even though it's only slightly. But it's still amazing. Uchiha Madara. Isakura jumped back while controlling the fire spirit. Regardless, it's usually wise to stay out of the way if the situation is unclear. Isakura Yuang doesn't really believe in the rules of the arena. Even if you die, your original body will not be affected. He didn't want to try it. It's okay to let Uchiha Madara try. This is also the reason why he is obsessed with capturing Uchiha Madara's soul. Oh, such a powerful energy can still be fixed. It's amazing. Looking up at the complete Susanoo, who is over 400 meters away, Isakura Yuang smiled knowingly. In comparison, my fire spirit is indeed a bit small. The fire spirit, which is less than 100 meters away, and the complete Susanoo, who is more than 400 meters away, look like an adult and a child. After gathering his complete Susanoo, Uchiha Madara did not say harsh words before the battle. Susanoo's hand was placed on the handle of the sword at his waist. The next second, the sword suddenly appeared. Directly in front of Susanoo, there was a harsh sonic boom. Extremely terrifying energy ripples stretched from the sky into the distance. The whole earth trembled violently. The surface is collapsing layer by layer. Boom! There was a loud noise. The light of the explosion drowned Susanoo, as well as the target of the attack, Fire Spirit, and a Sakura Leaf King. After a long time, the light gradually dissipated. Susanoo's solid body became a little messy. The blade swung by the complete Susanoo stopped in midair. The fiery red giant stood directly in front of Susanoo. Its height is almost as huge as the complete Susanoo. Blocked. Seeing the fire spirit clasping his hands together, catching the white blade with his bare hands, and catching the Susanoo blade, Uchiha Madara's face was not too surprised. It would be strange if it couldn't be stopped. In the chat group, many group members were watching the battle between the two. In general, a battle in which both sides go back and forth is more enjoyable than a battle in which one side crushes the other. In particular, a certain bespectacled captain of the 5th Division was very interested in the two people fighting during the live broadcast. Destroy the Divine Realm. What's the matter, Kessie? Bellies, who was watching the live broadcast of the arena, was called back to consciousness by Kessie. She glanced at Kessie with some confusion in her tone. My god of destruction, you have been in a daze for half an hour. Kessie covered her head, feeling very helpless. That's what's bad about Bellies. When she's not doing serious business, she likes to be in a daze. I haven't seen him for a few years, and now I'm doing business, and I'm in a daze. Yes, I don't think it took long. Bellies smiled awkwardly. She was not ready to tell Kessie about the chat group yet. Kessie's identity is the daughter of a great priest. No one can guarantee which side she will be on. At least Bellies didn't dare to bet on this, fearing that if the front foot just said it, the back foot priest would come over. Lord Bellies, after the dragon beads are made, you need to try them out, otherwise something will happen and it will cause harm to the universe. Kessie didn't know anything about the dragon realm. I also know that negative energy will appear in Dragon Balls. That's it, let's give it a try. Stack the dragon balls scattered on the ground together. Looking at the dragon beads one after another, a hint of excitement appeared in my heart. Using Dragon Balls and creating Dragon Balls are two different concepts. Come out Shenlong. As the words fell, the resonance became stronger and stronger, and the Dragon Ball became brighter and brighter. Page 39. A golden light like lightning rushed upward from the Dragon Ball. A thick dark cloud gathered in the sky above the Destruction God realm. Then, from the dark clouds, a crimson, fleshy creature appeared. Dragon. It fell slowly, showing its complete appearance below the clouds. The red dragon scales, the light red dragon belly, the pair of blood-red eyes, and the hundreds of meters long body look majestic. Say your wish, any wish. Well, no, Lord Creator. As Shenlong was talking, he suddenly got stuck. Come on, don't be nervous, keep talking, I'll be obedient. Bellies laughed completely nonchalantly. How can you not? The little dragon was created by the Creator. How dare you kick your nose into your eyes? A few drops of cold sweat broke out on the slightly majestic face of the red dragon. Damn, the first time you pretended to be cool, you pretended to be the wrong person. In the future, when you see someone calling you, you have to look carefully before speaking. I was only born less than a day ago, and I didn't want to reinvent myself. It seems that there is no problem, then you can go back first. Bellies looked at Shenlong for a while and said, Yes, Xiaolong is in very good health. He can eat several meals of meat in one bite. After saying that, without giving any reaction to Bellies, he disappeared with a hiss. The resonance began to weaken, and the dragon ball lay quietly on the ground. Bellies. Kessie. Bellies asked bravely, Kessie, is this dragon a failure or a success? I always feel very unreliable. Can this thing really make wishes? A difficult smile appeared on Kessie's face. It's your first time, so you will inevitably feel a little uncomfortable. Although I have never seen the appearance of a divine dragon, the flattery of this divine dragon just now was a bit too much. After putting the dragon ball away, Bellies thought about hell and said, There are some things on the other side of hell that my current creative power cannot fully repair. Can you go there? Hell, since Lady Bellies requested it. Kessie clicked with the angel scepter, projecting the appearance of hell. The damage is so serious. Is it Zamasu's fault? Well, that guy is a bit crazy. Fortunately, we have made solid preparations in advance, otherwise there will be chaos in the underworld. Bellies sighed. Then I'll go over and take a look. Kessie turned into a white light and left the god of destruction realm. Hutilda, I'm finally leaving. After sending Angel Kessie away, Bellies picked up the Dragon Ball. How about putting Dragon Balls in the chat group? Bellies thought about this method. Using the Dragon Balls to enter different worlds and make wishes can allow Bellies to come into contact with the laws of each world, which will be of great help to her perfecting herself. I remember that when the chat group was upgraded, a strange trading platform appeared. Think about it carefully. Isn't this just for the Dragon Balls to be used by group members? Well, let's take a look first. Bellies once again put her consciousness into the chat group. The live broadcast is over. The world's #1 princess. At everyone, is anyone here? In the battle between Uchiha Madara and a Sakura Leaf King, who wins and who loses in the end, I'm a little curious. Uchiha Madara. At world #1 princess, group leader, I won the battle with the newcomer just now. Uchiha Madara. Also, I want to apologize to the group leader. Without the permission of the group leader, I fought with newcomers without permission and caused a bad impact. The fight with the Sakura Leaf King was partly because the opponent had a bad mouth, and on the other hand, he was interested in the natural power of a Sakura Leaf King and wanted to test it out. Of course, Uchiha Madara is also prepared to be punished by the group leader regardless of failure or success. Even though Uchiha Madara is very conceited, he doesn't think that his little tricks can be hidden from the group leader. The world's #1 princess. It doesn't matter, just be more careful next time. At Uchiha Madara, don't be too hasty. In fact, if you want to improve your strength, it will be more convenient after you are resurrected. Uchiha Madara. Resurrection, I don't know how long it will take. The world's #1 princess. Isn't there a sign-in system? Every time you sign in, you get points, and the points can be exchanged for things such as Ding, the group leader, the #1 princess in the world, puts the Dragon Balls on the item consignment platform. Uchiha Madara. The world's #1 princess. If you want to be resurrected, you can do it with Dragon Balls. Uchiha Madara. Hibara AI. Ignoring the excitement of the group members, Bellies focused on the video of the battle just now. As the group leader, she was able to record the battle in the arena in real time. Obviously, he is stronger, but Asakura Yiking actually lost to Uchiha Madara. The fighting mentality is also quite important. Compared to Makang Yuang, he doesn't believe in the rules of the chat group and is afraid of being beaten to death, so he doesn't dare to fight at will. Uchiha Madara is completely determined to bite off a piece of the opponent's flesh, even if one of his hands is broken. As a result, Saburo's desperate method succeeded in beating Asakura Yiking to death. Moreover, the moves are exactly the same as before. Susanada Buddha, a set of random punches killed the old master. Asakura Yuang and the fire spirit were included, and not even the scum was left after being KO'd. I wonder if King Yi will be depressed after going out. She is a little curious. Chapter 40, King Yi's Wish. Shaman King World. When his consciousness returned to his body, Asakura Yiking's closed eyes slowly opened. In his mind, the scene of the previous battle emerged. My hesitation actually caused me to fail. Jumping down from the rooftop, Asakura Yuang's feet lightly stepped on the ground. He opened his hand and looked at the fire spirit shrinking into a ball of flame in his hand. You felt excited just now, right? We are about to step into a world that is broader than becoming the Shaman King. The flame formed by the fire spirit trembled slightly, seeming to agree with the idea of King Makang Yi. King Yi was not angry after being defeated by Madara Uchiha. The opponent defeated him head-on. Even if he borrowed the rules of the chat group and risked his life to attack, it was within the allowed range. If you want to say something, it's that he, King Makangai, is too careless. Well, it'll be nice to win it back next time. However, it was because of this failure that he realized how terrifying the chat group was. It can completely simulate its own body, and even the fire spirit can be directly simulated. Even death can be made almost lifelike. Uchiha Madara manipulated the so-called true thousands of hands and smashed down with 1,000 fists. He tried his best to block, but in the end, he was not prepared enough and blocked about half of the attacks. Then, the fire spirit and himself were all greeted by the dense bullet-like fists. Even the fire spirit could not withstand the dense fists. Even if he was strong and onmyoji, his body could not compare with the fire spirit. Moreover, the physical strength simulated by the chat group is almost equivalent to his current body, and it is impossible to block such power. Chat group, Uchiha Madara, and the mysterious group leader. A smile appeared on Asakura Yuang's face. Maybe the days in the future won't be boring. Ding, group owner, add Dragon Ball to the consignment platform. Group members who want to use it can go and buy it. King Makang was stunned. Dragon Ball. What is that? Asakura Yuang skillfully opened the chat group and clicked on the extra options. After a moment, 7 pictures of orange glass balls with different star numbers popped out. A Dragon Ball that can grant all wishes, including resurrection of the dead, but only for one. Resurrection. The originally calm expression of King Makang became a little strange. Memories from thousands of years ago began to emerge from the depths of my mind. The psychic who was killed by ordinary people, his own mother. For thousands of years, King Makang has made unremitting efforts. The purpose of becoming a psychic king is to eliminate dirty, ordinary people and build a world with only psychics. In addition, he also borrowed the power of the Shaman King to find his mother from the 4.6 billion year history of this planet and resurrect her. Page 40, Dragon, Pearl, can it really be done? King Makang, he didn't even notice that his voice was slightly trembling when he spoke. When he saw the price of the dragon beads, King Makang frowned slightly. Purchasing the right to use Dragon Ball requires 5,000 points. Integral. What is that? There was a point sign-in system on the side, and Asakura Yuang subconsciously clicked on it. Ding, you can sign in once a month, and you can get points ranging from 1 to 100 after signing in once. Ding, congratulations, you got 25 points. That's all. King Makang frowned. 25 points a month, when can I collect them all? What's more, these 25 points are not fixed. Maybe it will be 1 point next month. Looking at the nicknames of all the members on the public screen of the chat group, Asakura Yuang hesitated slightly and changed the nickname of the Millennium Onmyoji to his own name, Asakura Yuang. Asakura Yuang. At everyone, I am the newcomer Asakura Yuang. Can I ask some questions? Uchi Hamadura. What the hell are you so polite? The world's #1 princess. Okay, what do you want to ask? At Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Makura Yuang. Can the dragon beads sold on the consignment platform really resurrect lost lives? The world's #1 princess. As long as the soul imprint exists, it will not be possible if the soul is forcibly erased. However, please note that people who die of natural causes or diseases cannot be resurrected. In other words, only those who die unconventionally can be resurrected. Makura Yuang. What about the people who have been dead for a long time? The world's #1 princess. How long? Makura Yuang. About 1,000 years. Uchi Hamadura. Hibara AI. The rest. Does the great Onmyoji have a special misunderstanding about the long time of death? In 1,000 years, the ashes can be raised. The first princess of the world. It can be resurrected. It only takes 1,000 years, which is not too long. According to the laws of the world you live in, it is not difficult for a psychic soul to be immortal for 1,000 years. The world's #1 princess. At Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, I'm very curious, who do you want to resurrect? Ma Jie or Atopo Chio? In the world of Shaman King, after seeing the information in the chat group, King Makeng Yi stood up immediately. Makeng Yuang, you, how do you know? Incredible, he never told the group who he wanted to resurrect, right? Moreover, he even said his name. Asanoha, the mother of a Sakura Leaf King 1,000 years ago, and Atohachio, can be said to be a Sakura Leaf King's best friend. In a sense, if it weren't for Atobachio's power. He was killed thousands of years ago. Due to excessive use of Atobachio's power, Atobachio died. This is something that King Yi has been feeling guilty about for many years. The world's #1 princess. When you join the chat group, the past and future of your world will be recorded in the chat group. Of course, only part of it, not all of it. The world's #1 princess. But don't worry, this is just the established past and future. In other words, it's what will happen in the world when you don't join the chat group. Makura Yuang, is this just like this? The great Onmyoji didn't want to believe it, but after thinking about it, this explanation was the only one that was more reasonable. Asakura Yuang couldn't think of the answer and skipped the topic. Makura Yuang, how do I get the points to exchange for Dragon Balls? To be honest, if you really sign in once a month, and the points for each sign-in range from 1 to 100, then you don't know how many years it will take to resurrect. Besides, what he wanted to resurrect were 2 lives, not 1. He was not sure whether the Dragon Ball could resurrect 2 people, or only 1 person at a time. The world's #1 princess. Well, didn't you read the rules of the consignment platform? The world's #1 princess. Each group member can consign valuable items with multiple usage rights and can earn certain points through evaluation in the chat group. In addition, if the items you upload are purchased by other group members, you can also get points that are 1/10 of the purchase price. This can be obtained multiple times. Makura Yuang, I see, I understand. Ding, Makeng Yuang uploaded Super Divination Strategy and received 1,000 points. Asakura Yuang looked at the extra row of points numbers in the chat group. Only that few. However, it would be nice to have 1,000 points for an old thing I wrote many years ago. King Ma Kang Yi's face was calm, and the light in his eyes could not hide the stirring emotions at this moment. He once again uploaded some spiritual power and Onmyoji practice methods. After system evaluation. In the personal account of Asakura Yuang's chat group. Total 40,150 points. Chapter 40, Wan Ying's request. The group leader comes to Tevat. The first princess of the world. I forgot to mention something just now. The points required to use the Dragon Balls are related to the laws of each world. The world's #1 princess. To put it simply, the stronger the upper limit an individual can reach, or the stronger the world level, the more points it takes to make a wish with Dragon Ball. Heihara AI, I need 500 points to redeem Dragon Balls here. Is this too much? Irina, mine is 2,000 points. Platycotton, 4,500 points. Uchiha Madara, 5,000 points. Makura Yuang, 5,000 points. Captain of the 5th Division. It takes 6,000 points, which is a bit unbelievable. Ying, 10,000 points. I feel like I can't possibly get all of them. Hibara AI. Well, nothing to compare. Would you say she is lucky or unlucky? The world you live in is just an everyday world. Even if he doesn't do anything, just by signing in, he might be able to get the Dragon Balls and resurrect his sister within a few years. At this time, the world of death. The 5th Division team building. Aizen stood outside the team, building with his hands behind his back. How does a Dragon Ball that can make wishes compare to Bengyu? However, the demand for wishing is calculated according to the intensity of the world. So, apart from that, I still don't know that the world of the group leader, the one named Ying, is probably at a higher level than my current world. At this time, the continent of Teyvat, Ying rode the Golden King Beast and led a group of abyss cults to Gaian Pavilion. Gaian Pavilion is a land created by the rock spear, dropped by the rock god Morax. Moreover, a demon named Osul is sealed underneath. The Golden King Beast, plus dozens of abyss apostles and empty shells, and hundreds of abyss mages. Such a team would not be afraid, even if Liu's birds and beasts came. Especially the Golden King Beast, after being rewashed by the power of the abyss, its power is no less than that of the demon dragon Dulan. Ying's eyes fell on the chat group. To avoid accidents, ask the group leader if he can come over and help check things out. After all, these abyssal legions can currently deal with the immortals in Liu, but they are still very reluctant to deal with Morax. Even the Golden King Beast can only delay them for a while at most. It takes time to lift the seal. If the seal of Osul is lifted and the main force of the Abyss Order is taken over by Morax, there will be no need to cry. Ying, at Chinese letter, NUMBER1 Princess, Group Leader, are you interested in coming to Teyvat Continent? The world's #1 princess. Ying, I am ready to capture Osul, but I am worried that the men I brought will not be able to stop Morax. The world's #1 princess. In other words, you are short of thugs. Ying, well, maybe it's missing a little bit. I don't know what the group's thoughts are. All right, legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Remember, we've got 3 days to prove this story needs to continue. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.